Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you today, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asker. I'm just a question asking. Today is Friday, y'all. I'm just a question asker out of Atlanta, Georgia. But I tell you something, we got somebody that is very important. This is my sister from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Zamari. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, doing well, doing well. And let me tell you something. I got a shock and a surprise for y'all. Are y'all ready? You ready? You ready?
I don't know.
Toussaint. Toussaint. Good morning, sir. This is my brother from another mother, but we too have the same father. This is Donald Toussaint. Donald T. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning, Jamari. Good morning, everyone.
Okay. See how that Joker do? He said your name specifically. He said, "Good morning, Zamari, and good morning, everyone." You see how that Joker do? See how that Joker do?
Because I'm
Oh,
his favorite.
see how that Joker do?
You so good. You
Zamari, why
good.
your
Good
light is?
morning, Raheem. Good
Oh,
morning, Raheem. Oh, I
wow.
forgot to say good morning, Raheem.
I I get a good morning. Oh my God, my God. Okay, well, good to have both of you with us. I'm multitasking on this side over here because we just getting started. But I want to ask y'all a question. This is I'm gonna start with you.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm looking at my emails at the same time because I had to
Yeah.
send something. So forgive me.
Watch this, Tucson. See, we don't pay you for that now. We don't pay you for looking at your emails now. That's not a part of your pay grade.
Hey, hey, hey. I don't get paid at all. I'm here voluntarily.
You ain't supposed to say that. Look, you're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to say pout a little
Hey,
bit.
Jamari, look, as long as he owe you, you'll never be broke.
Hey, I like that.
See, boy, it's amazing how y'all come together. Look, and I will be the last man to shout for help. And since I am the last man, hell no. Listen, I want to talk to you about Florida, this great state of Florida. Now, Florida's a great place. I like Florida. I like visiting Florida. Certain cities in Florida I really, really like a lot. Tomorrow, Florida strikes again. Where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line in
Wait,
regards to?
okay.
Huh? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Where,
can hear you. I thought you had already said the other part, and then you said where to draw the line, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Mhm. Yeah, in regards to Florida and women rights,
Oh,
where do we draw the line? Because now Florida they had this big petition. Parents had to come out and protest and all kind of things, and speak out against it. But Florida had for a while on sports applications for female. When did you have your last period? When did you have your last menstrual cycle? That was a part of the application that Florida had for women, for female. And my question is, where do we draw the line? When is too much too much? Because these are high school students. Why do you even what does that matter to you? And to their defense, they try to say that they're trying to curve transgenders participating in different sports. They're using that as a mechanism to determine whether the actual women, transgender women, or what are they. And so what they did, they had that question in there: when did you have your last menstrual cycle?
hmm.
Is that too much?
I mean, no, because see, I don't. Raheen, you're asking the wrong person. Um, because I don't take offense to a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like if they're gonna ask me that, okay, whatever. And women get asked that for everything,
Mm-hmm.
almost on everything. That if it's now, I know sports related that when it comes to sports, or at least from what I've heard, because I've never really been largely involved in sports, but I have heard, and I don't know if this is true, but I have heard that women who are very active in sports, their menstrual cycles tend to not
Sure.
always be on time.
Yeah, yeah.
They can skip sometimes. So I don't know. I would not take offense to that. It wouldn't
Wow.
bother me either way.
I'm not. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not female. I'm not female. I'm man. Oh man, boom boom, beat my chest. It bothers me. It bothers me. I have 4 daughters, and so if they bought that application home to play a sport, and I went over, and it was a little check box, then you had to put a date in beside it because they actually showed it on the news. It would really that would really offend me. Why do you want to know? Why do you want to know when my daughter's last menstrual cycle was? What does that have to do with her playing sports? What and that's why I asked the question, when and where do you draw the line? Because I think I think that's crossing the line a lot. A
Is
lot.
this just in high school that they're doing this?
Well, the way they presented it, it was high school. I don't know whether it's middle school as well, but the way they presented it was high school. I'm gonna try to find that clip so I can play it.
I
Uh, I,
wonder if it could be also to gauge, or maybe, I mean, I don't know, Raheem, this is kind of touchy. I wonder if maybe it's in case a high school female is pregnant too, and they're trying to be involved in sports.
the way they presented
mean,
that's one way to think about it, but the way they presented it had nothing to do with pregnancy. It had more to do with whether you are a transgender.
well, I mean, if that's what they're trying to keep out, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather not say, but I mean, I don't
Yes.
disagree.
Excuse me. Had to sneeze this morning. That
Bless you.
thank you. Tucson, what did you say to that, brother? Is that crossing the line?
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you again.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'm kind of like at a, oh God, wow. I'm kind of like a father with a daughter with this one.
Exactly. Exactly.
I need a, well, here's the thing I'm going to say, Ryan. It's like, in order to have this conversation, where's your mother? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because that's a woman's thing. But at the same time now, I know that, well, if it's pertaining to whether they transgender or not, I don't know. All they got to do is, I don't know if they're gonna be honest, but ask them.
Mhm.
Just ask them. Put on the application or what to identify
You
yourself.
can't ask him. Why not?
Say it. No. Here's what I'm saying. Ask them their sex orientation. Is that a word? Is that the right terminology? Whether they male, female, or transgender.
See, Zamara,
Just ask them.
she's shaking her head no, and I'm trying to figure out why she's shaking her head no. Why are you shaking?
Okay. All right.
You're not allowed to.
But that's what
Okay.
they're doing it on the application though.
They're
Well,
they're asking about their
not necessarily-
monthly, but they're not asking specifically if they're transgender. You're not allowed to do that. You
Okay.
cannot ask that question.
See, I think, and I understand what you're saying, and it certainly makes sense what you're saying, but I think they're going around it in a roundabout way. That's exactly what they're doing though, because because when asked and approached about why the question is on there, and they stated that it's because they want to make sure that they're not including transgenders in female sports and things of that nature. And
So let me ask you this, Raheen. Would you rather them ask your daughter about her monthly, if she has a monthly, or would you rather her going to school and sharing a locker room with someone who supposedly is transgender?
I don't think that the school system, and this is just me, I don't think that's the school system's place to even make a determination in regards to that one way or another. You know, if a person is born a certain way, that's the way that they're born. Now, would I like for my daughter to be included, or being possibly the answer to that question is no. But at the same time, I don't think there's certain lines that you cross in certain situations. And to have that question is there's a double, there's a huge, I think a huge double standard in that, in how you're targeting these individuals,
Mm,
and how you're targeting these individuals, because and one of the reasons why I say that, because if this, what if this person want their privacy and don't want no one to know that they are? I mean,
Raheem,
yes.
let me jump back in. You kind of like, you can't discriminate, unfortunately.
Okay.
It might be wrong, but you can't discriminate.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the fact that where if they have gone through the procedures that's necessary,
Mm-hmm.
then it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So why even ask the question?
That's confusing to me, but I guess there's medical care that I'm confused. I'm trying to see, because people try to protect themselves. Schools, governments, institutions, they try to protect themselves from a possible what if.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want that to pop up on you. I'm not trying to defend it, but I'm saying that even companies have to protect themselves
Mm-hmm.
from the what if this happens, what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
So the process of trying to cover themselves from even possible lawsuits, biases, prejudices, they have to do certain things. I'm not too smart, but I'm not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
The way that society has, they allow different genders to be open to participate, but at the same time, people have been sued for certain reasons, and companies and schools and institutions again, they have to say, okay, we got to look out for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if
is asking that question,
coaches,
is asking that question looking out for themselves, or being a little too invasive?
well, maybe we need to listen to what they're saying to kind of get clarity on the what, when, where, why, and how.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're talking about it, but I hadn't seen the article. I hadn't seen the report. I hadn't seen the beginning of it. Because sometimes you ever seen a video that somebody presents, especially the news, and they present parts and bits and
Yeah.
pieces of it, and you think you got the whole story, and you don't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They just want you to hear what they want you to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a root to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get down to the root of it, you can have a better conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Good deal. Let me go to I want to say the name like it is here. Is it Odin? There he is. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I'm at work. Decided to jump in for a minute.
Good to have you,
How
brother.
are you?
Hey, doing good. I'm trying to get my screen up. Right there you go. Hey, doing good, brother. I need to hear your heart on this right here, man. Good to have you this morning. We're talking about Florida and how I think Florida crossed the line, and Florida does a lot. But now in sports, for female sport athletes, high school female athletes. I don't know if they're doing it with middle school, but I certainly know they're doing it with high school. There's a question on the application that they have to fill out. When did you have your last menstrual cycle? What is the date of your last menstrual cycle? And they're saying that what they're trying to do, because there was a big backlash and a lot of parents, there was a big protest actually. A lot of people spoke out against it. And they said that one of the reasons why they're doing that is because of the fact they're trying to curb transgenders from participating in certain sports across the board like that. And so that was the reason they said why they did it. But my thing is even asking that question crossing the line. What do you say to that?
I don't think asking that question, I hope you can hear me and there's not a lot of background noise.
Yeah, we
I'm
hear you.
at, okay. I don't think asking that question is outside the box at all, to be honest. It's a normal bodily function, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whether there's an agenda behind it or not, I'm just going to be blunt. I don't think that transgenders, I think they should have their own sports group, because simply put, either way, like let's say it's a man going to a female, that man's body, if they're not taking the proper supplements or what have you, is still producing testosterone, which gives them an automatic giant step over all the other females in that group. And on the other side of the spectrum, if it's a female transitioning to a man, which you don't see, you don't see that one very often in the sports area, because they're just going to get dominated, period. That's just the nature of things, right? So asking that question, it's not outside the box, because females have that as a normal cycle anyway. So I just don't see what the big to-do is about it.
One of my issues with it is and it's almost like the abortion situation. You know, I don't think a man has a right to tell a lady when and where and why she can have an abortion and different things of that nature. I don't think that that's I don't think it's right. You know, lack of a better term, I don't think it's right. And I think that a person, we talk about people have their own privacy and have the right to their own privacy. Is that crossing the line of their privacy? What if they don't want nobody to know? They don't want anybody to know that they are a certain type, if you will, a certain type. And putting that question on there, I don't know what are they trying to, what goal are they trying to reach in even asking that question?
So, I mean, it could fall under HIPAA guidelines, right?
Yes.
So
absolutely,
it could be, if it's on that paperwork, then the default is, if it is a HIPAA violation, to ask that question, or if they give that information, if it falls under HIPAA, then it's going to be between that student and the faculty. So that's going to get put in a file and nobody else is going to see it anyway. So if that faculty member or anyone in that school were to release that information, they'd be in violation of HIPAA laws and they'd be catching a lawsuit. So, I mean, there is coverage for that type of thing. As far as, you know, the other part, abortion, like I'm a pro-life individual, right? I do believe in some extreme circumstances that, sure, the options should be there, but I'm gonna throw a question back at you, and maybe you talk about it later on. You say it's never a man's right to tell a female what to do, but what if that man and that woman are committed and that female doesn't want it, but that man does? Doesn't that create a conflict of interest?
It does. It does. But ultimately, at the end of the day, and you're absolutely right. We actually discussed this on the broadcast a couple of months ago. It does. But at the end of the day, it's really her decision to make. I would love to have some input. If something like that would have happened to me, I would love to have an input or say so in the matter. But at the end of the day, man, it's her body. She have to be the one to carry that baby for 9 months. And so she has the ultimate decision whether she chose to do so or not. I mean, that hurts. It hurts. And if she would decide to do that, it would be very painful for me that she did
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And
that'd be a game over.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, that's it. If you decide to do that, you can't be with me because now you've killed a part of me. You killed a part of me. Yeah.
two consenting adults, you both made that decision to commit that act. So
Mhm.
I think it's just to put it in both people's court, and both people should have a say. That's just me.
Yeah. And see, what if, and we jumping off top, we're gonna get right back to where we're supposed to be, but what if this young lady has had a baby before, maybe even by you, and it was a very troublesome path. The whole process was hard on her. It almost killed her. And you all get together, y'all still together, y'all still a couple. She get pregnant again, and she said, "Look here, I'm not going through that anymore. It almost killed me the last time. I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this time. I don't know." And so I want to, I'm gonna abort the child because I can't take that chance.
And then that becomes, one of those things where she should have thought about that and maybe got her man snipped or had herself tied up, so that didn't happen.
But see, we say she should have thought about that. Him being the man, he should have led her in that way as well. He had a part in it too.
Of
We
course,
can't,
of course.
yeah, yeah.
Of
We can't just
course.
put the responsibility on her and say, "Well, you should have thought about it." Yeah, you should have, but bruh, you the man, you the head of the household. Why
Yeah.
didn't you? Because you knew what she went through the last time. Why do you want to put
But-
her in a situation where she got to go through that again? And so it's two sides to the coin. Let me go to Badger.
And
Badger,
it
good.
goes, oh,
Huh?
sorry.
No, go ahead,
I
brother.
just finished my thought. And that goes back to kind of what y'all were talking about yesterday, because I watched a little bit of the show from yesterday, where some women just don't want to be led by a man.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you know, anyway,
exactly. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Badger, what do you think about this situation? Is that crossing the line?
I mean, I kind of semi understand the reason behind it, but at the same time, them releasing it to the state, and it isn't like staying in the school, or it isn't just staying in the nurses stuff. It's like it's being sent elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know if it's against the HIPAA laws as far as that kind of stuff goes, but for me, if it's in a doctor, the nurse's office, I mean that's that. But however, um, you do know that they're removing it, right?
Yeah, they had to because there was a big protest. Absolutely.
Oh no, they have. It's already been removed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because there was a
Um,
protest. Yeah, they had to remove it because
so
a lot of parents came out and protested against it, and there was a big uproar, and so they said, yeah, they're removing it.
the part that I'm curious about is how are they the, the I mean, not only are things like this a debate, but I know there's all that political correctness when it comes to what you can or can't say without getting sued nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
How at times how do you tell the difference between a male or a female with the advancements of medication,
Mm-hmm.
um, science?
If you're not considering being with the person in a certain way, what does it what does it matter? If that
Oh
person,
no, I
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's just if if it is scientifically proven time and time again that the male body is muscle patterns are built different,
Mm-hmm.
and the woman's muscle patterns are built different in a biological manner,
Mm-hmm.
then we're potentially putting a male that has transformed appearance only, uh, or in the mind, or whatever they want to say, but they still have the build.
Mm-hmm.
They can hurt people.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's that whole UFC debate that you still hear about off and on about that transgender that got into the woman's side of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
and hurt them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's the one about the swimming. Like there's just time and time again where science has proven that the male body in certain areas is built to do things differently.
Yeah.
So I don't think if you have a body that is a male physique, no matter how you change your appearance, you shouldn't be in a sport that's for a physique for a different person.
Mm-hmm. But are they crossing the line and even asking the question or placing that question on the application? Are they crossing the line and doing that?
I want to say no. Well, I mean, I want to say yes. They are
Mm-hmm.
crossing a line.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how else they're going to make sure things stay fair.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
And
Tucson.
and that's a sad thought.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. Absolutely. It is. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
No, this is a blind subject to me,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that just for instance, if so you saying that it's because of they want to find out. See, let me ask a question
Mm-hmm.
because I'm confused about something. Does transgenders even have? See how careful I'm trying to.
I see.
Periods.
No, I don't think so.
So unless the transgender has changed from a woman to a man, or desires to identify themselves as a man,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how they're gonna have them.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, have they completely had the surgery, or they just appear to carry themselves in that way
See
as
that
a female?
that's an excellent question, and that part wasn't actually discussed, so I don't know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if you can't produce a period, you don't have one in the first place. I ain't had a period since I born.
I never had one, brother.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think I'm gonna have one.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
If I start bleeding, I got an issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something going on. You better go see somebody real quick, brother. You
I
start
need
bleeding.
I need to touch the hem of his garment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Toya T coming in here, man. She causing all kind of problems walking in the door. She came in, she didn't walk in the door, she kicked the door in. And then good morning, Toya with a T. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Cuckoo.
She coming the doggone door. She kicked the door in. Tell me, I'm here.
Sorry. Good morning, y'all. I am a maple tree.
There you go.
It's a pleasure to meet y'all.
Hey, I'm Oak Tree. Good to meet you as well.
Good morning, Oak Tree. I'm Maple, and I got the syrup, baby.
There you good deal. See, sugar and spice and everything nice. See, we are what they say, dog. Me and our dog.
Snips and snails and puppy dog tails.
Yeah.
Okay, Lord, I'm sorry.
Boy, they give us a bad rap off the top. But, yes, Lord. But Toya, I need to ask you a question. I need to hear your whole heart on this right here. We're talking about that situation. Florida strikes again. And what has happened is Florida has on an application for female athletes. They say a question on there: when was your last menstrual cycle and the date? And they have to fill this out in order to play sports. There was a big uproar, and they actually people protested right and left. There was a huge outrage behind this, and they took that question off. But they said their point of doing that was to find out whether or not it was a transgender that was trying to play sports again and have an unfair advantage. But
that's what that is. I didn't think got that on a whole bunch of stuff, but okay.
But yes, but my thing is right here. Are they in doing that? Are they crossing the line and even asking that question?
Well, the unfortunate part is that we humans are so goofy. Just because the girl don't get her cycle, don't mean that she no transgender.
Mm-hmm.
We got all kind of PCOS issues and all kind of fibroid issues that we go through. Hell, I ain't had one in 10 years. I'm only 45. So it has nothing to do with a cycle. It
Mm-hmm.
is what it is. All right. So we've been taught that men are stronger than women
Mm-hmm.
for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Genetically built
Mm-hmm.
to be stronger than us, even the soft and squishy ones. So when it comes to sports, they don't want to allow the unfair advantage of the strength of a man to overcome a woman.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to determine that from when they got their cycle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I get it, but I don't know how we are going to just be honest in society and ask the question, do you identify yourself as transgender? What is the problem? What is the problem? Do you identify yourself as transgender should be the only question that's asked. Now, have I seen that menstrual cycle? Yes, I've seen that before. But I assumed, some sports, when you're a woman and you don't have or do have a cycle, there's things that go along with that. So I assume, forgive me for assuming, I should have known better. I'm in America. I assume that when they ask these questions, just to kind of help coordinate the fact that, some sports is too strenuous, you may not be able to have kids, to maybe monitor what kind of sports and how they affect the female body, when it comes to stress, kids playing, things like that. That's why I thought it was. I didn't know it was, to keep, a transgender from playing. But we know that we got a lot of people who just do not agree with that, and they're going to utilize whatever kind of laws or side tricks they can to try to get to the bottom of it, instead of us just being honest and open and say, hey, how do you identify yourself? I mean, we got pronouns. Did anybody see the clip that I said yesterday about the pronouns, how you get your own pronoun? But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Are you a tranny? Are you a he, she, him, they? I mean, I'm a maple tree and it's all good. So, I don't know how we going to get to like the real deal in America, but I kind of get it.
Exactly. Wow. And to me, I really think that they're really crossing the line. I think that's a little too much. Now you do want to protect the ladies, and you don't want them to be in a situation where they have an unfair be at a disadvantage because of the fact that they're women, and this man come over to them because he identifies a certain way. He would have a certain advantage, but at the same time, you also, it's so much tied into this thing. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Just happy to see another day, man.
Good deal. Good to
Out
have
here
you.
getting it in, trying to deal with this little cold weather. That you know what I'm saying, but I'm getting it in.
There you go. So it's not raining there?
No, it ain't raining, but it's cold. It rained last night.
Okay, good deal. Rico, what do you think about this whole situation, man? Florida strikes again. Florida put on the application, female application to play sports. There's a category, there's a box there. When did you have your last menstrual cycle? And beside that you have to put the date. And they say there was a big outrage behind it. They took it off. They took it after the community acted up and protested against it. They took that part off. But they said the reason why they was trying to do that, or they had implemented that question, is because of the fact that they want to make sure that transgenders did not play female sports. That's one thing. But are they crossing the line even asking that question?
Well, they probably should have asked a different question to try to get that answer. I mean, because that is a little private, especially, for women that don't even have to worry about, that issue of whether or not it's a transgender thing. It might be a privacy issue for women. That's something that's personal to a lot of women. You know,
Mhm.
whether it's a simple situation or a complicated situation, because some women menstrual cycle, man, it's a very painful time. And, they don't like people to know, that business. And some people have no problem talking about it, but they probably could have asked a different question. That's what I'll say.
Mhm.
Because I think it's necessary that you do find out, to make sure that the playing field is level.
Mhm.
You should make sure that everything is fair. You
Mhm.
don't want anybody to have any extra edges, you know what I'm saying, or advantages. So I feel like, the question may have been worded wrong, but the reason why they asked the question is justified to me.
Mhm. Wow. How do you think, and just thinking off the top of the dome, Rico, how do you think that question should have been posed a little better?
Uh, were you born a man or a woman?
Mm-hmm.
Just plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think I said the other day, man, sometimes we could try to sound so intelligent and elegant or politically correct that we really sound ignorant. You know what I'm saying? When you can just get down to this plain and simple question.
Mm-hmm.
Were you born a man or a woman? Because if Dwayne Wade's son go through and have his little change later on, he's still going to have to answer whether or not he was born. Now, I guess this is where the other people start coming in with the pronoun talk. Hey, they, not him, not her, they. Any kind of reasons to try to continue to justify that confusion. But, I think if they really wanted to get it very simple and not offend anybody, just ask them plain and simply what you want to know. Were you born a man or a woman?
Mm-hmm.
A boy or a girl? Mm-hmm. Male or female?
Wow. That's too simple. That's too common sense. That has too much common sense tied into it, Rico. They can't do that, man. That's common sense. Common sense and common. They can't do it that way.
Did you have a menstrual cycle last month? When was your last menstrual cycle, man? Wait a minute. You couldn't think of a better way to ask that question?
Mm-hmm.
What you trying to find out? Well, I'm really trying to find out if you're really originally a man or a woman. Mm-hmm. Well, just ask me that.
Yeah.
Smart guy.
That's again. That's too common. That's common sense, man. Common sense ain't common. God is good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Wow. I'm doing great this morning.
What do you think about Florida? They've done it. They figured out a way to do it again. They figured out a way to do it, and then asking this question: is that question crossing the line?
I don't think it's crossing the line personally. I mean, as Toya said, a lot of us women have to answer that on a whole lot of different other stuff. When was your last menstrual period? I can't never remember the exact dates, but I'd be like, oh, it was 3 or 4 weeks ago. I mean, so that's a common question for a woman.
So you all ask a lot of times when y'all had your last cycle?
We have been asked. I mean, in different things that you do. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's usually medically and around something dealing with medical, but
okay, I can see that part.
There are situations that you are asked those things.
Okay, now I can see that part around if you go to the doctor or medical situation like that, but just on an application to play a sports, that's where I think it's a little different. But just talk to me. What's on your
heart? Personally, I feel the same as like Rico and her that we should just bring it to the forefront. Are you a man or a woman born that way? But I think even if you do that, they're going to be offended. People are so easily being offended in nowadays that we're so busy trying to cover up everything. It is. I mean, I have family members that have taken are gay, basically, or lesbian. So, and to the point where some of them, as I grew up with some of them, I don't care if you change to be a man, I'm still not gonna call you him. And that's not a disrespect. It's just that that's not how I met you.
Mm-hmm.
But then I meet other members of the family that have been involved with somebody else, and I met them as a girl. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if they were a girl, then they were born a boy, but I met them as a girl. So I will use, hey, her, or however way. But they know their position. You got some of them that don't know their position. They've been living in California and they forget who they are. Well, you didn't change your name 3 or 4 times,
Mm-hmm.
And since you didn't change your name 3 or 4 times, I'm not going to keep changing with you and your identification issue.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's
So
good.
I think that it gets to a point where we're just going to have to be truthful out here. And I think that, Obama, that was one thing that he's known for, was giving the LGBTQZRX7 rights. So where Black Americans still ain't got a right not to be hung. So we haven't even still gotten that. We've been fighting for that for 400 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good deal.
I'm really, I got issues with it anyway, because if we had regular rights for human beings and that was upstated, then we would never had to go there to get rights for them, because they are human beings.
Good deal. Let me go to Toya. Toya, what's on your heart, sis? Toya?
Wait a minute. I was drying my leaves off. Gee whiz.
Dry them leaves, girl. It's raining outside. Dry them leaves off.
It is, and it's cold too. Yeah, well, so there are a lot of instances. I remember a whole heap of instances. I had to think about it. Probably not jobs, but yeah, it's been a bunch of instances where they ask about cycles when it comes to us. And like I said, I just thought it was, to plan accordingly with certain things, because all of us don't do well. I'm with Goddess though. If I know you're a boy, you can call it boy. I'm not finna play them games with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not finna play them games. Stop. Now, in the work environment, now 2023, you got to be a little bit nicer. I don't have no shade, even though I am a tree. I ain't got no shade. So I'm going to tell you, do you want me to call you boy, sir? Because if you look like a girl, then, and I know you're a boy, I'm going, well, yeah, Miss Toya, do this, that, the third. I will allow you the respect after I've had that conversation. Now, but back in the day, boy, I stayed in trouble. You heard me? All the time. But there are opportunities now where I'm at work probably about 2 weeks ago with this 30-something-year-old woman with her pants down, and I don't care if I'm a manager or not. Will you please pull your pants up? So I don't have a problem having a conversation with any individual. It doesn't matter what you are, to get you back on track. Because as a manager, either you don't know or you don't care, and I got the time to teach you both. So whether we are LGBTQ or transgender, some of that, I'm just not going to allow that to drag me in their insanity. Now, let me tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to let nobody come hurt you around me, because I don't care what you feel. That what you want to do, you go ahead. Listen, sometimes it burns my britches to see a man dressed up like me. And I done had cramps. I done had to go through stuff to be a girl, right? I done had to feel pains. I done been raped. Not to say that you haven't, but I feel like I've earned the right to get these boobies and everything else. And then here you come, just plop stuff on you and damn near, look better than me. Boy, you don't get up out of here. Man, come on, man. And I'm just being real. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But at the end of the day, nobody cannot hurt you around me. Nobody can treat you wrong around me. I believe in being fair despite of your choices and decisions. Don't come around me pushing me no agendas. Don't come around here trying to drag me into your insanity. And I still will make sure, just like everybody else, you're safe, you're taken care of, you're treated fairly despite of how I feel. But yeah, no, we a little out of control with the, the whole, well, last thing, y'all. So if a little boy has a head full of hair and wants to wear a ponytail, and if I'm not mistaken, this is in Texas, and we talked about this some time ago, he has to identify himself as a girl and wear a dress in order to wear a ponytail. What kind of madness is that? See, now that's where we start having the problems with this community, because now you're not letting someone choose their identity. You're influencing. You have an agenda now, trying to make someone be a certain way because of how long their hair is. And that's where we're losing it. That's why we're starting to have these conversations. But yeah, no, I'm sorry. I got my own insanity to live. And the boy's a boy and the girl's a girl. Sorry.
Good, yeah. Let me play this one clip. And this is not the clip that I saw this morning. This is another clip. I'm hoping that it's going to cover a lot of the stuff that we're talking about right now and get a little more clarity on it. So let me play this clip. And after that, Brian, I'm coming to you. I want to hear your heart on what they're about to say. Let me do this here.
Young girls about their periods. The Florida High School Athletic Association came under fire for asking girls some questions like, when was their most recent period and how many periods have you had in the last year? Now, as NBC2 chief political correspondent Dave Elias shows us, this information will be kept private.
Well, this is the form that doctors fill out for male and female athletes, but it's these questions that they ask girls when they first started their periods and how many periods they've had in the last year. Well, they're going to be removed from the form after an outcry from the public.
It is a complete invasion of privacy.
Emails from Florida parents and medical experts.
But there is zero reason why a coach needs to know anything about an athlete's period.
Outraged over these questions, which ask young women personal questions about their periods.
I think it's very important from a medical standpoint that we ask those questions, but I necessarily think it's important from a state government.
The board of directors, 18 men and 2 women, ultimately agreed, and they voted to remove the questions from the physical form.
I do not believe that the detailed questions and information on pages 1, 2, and 3 need to be shared with schools.
Chris Patrica, a former athlete and one of just 2 women on the board, voted against removing the questions.
I do think the information is private, and there's no reason why a coach or an athletic director or a school system would need to have that information, but I do believe it's necessary for the doctor to have the conversation with the patient.
She insisted the questions remain for safety reasons.
Having the question on the form allows the student athlete to have a conversation with the doctor.
The other woman on the board voted the questions should be removed. Now, new forms will be revised, but none of the medical information is going to be given to the state or the school district. Instead, athletes will only return page 3, which is signed off by a doctor saying that the athlete is healthy enough to play sports. Dave Elias, NBC2.
Well, a majority of states ask questions about menstrual cycles for student athletes, but why? Doctors say menstrual dysfunction is 2 to 3 times more common in athletes than non-athletes, and 10 to 15% of female athletes lose their menstrual cycle altogether. It's especially important for sports that emphasize leanness, like running, gymnastics, cheerleading, and dance. Girls who don't get their periods can be more susceptible to stress fractures.
Ryan?
That news clip showed you everything you needed to see right there. There was no hidden agendas. The form said optional. And like my wife been saying in chat, they've been using that form for 20 plus years. So why all of a sudden is it now a problem? Tell you why. Because those communities want to find a reason to create a problem. It's not a problem. Sure, like I can understand the part where they're talking about let's make it to where the doctor just signs off on it, right? That's fine. I mean, the question is still getting asked, but to much of the women in that news clip, to their, I don't know what the word would be, it slips my head right now, but I'm agreeing with them. They're saying we need to know this because, hey, that female could be pregnant, right? And if she gets involved in sports, especially a contact sport, that's going to create maybe a miscarriage or something to happen to the child, right? And like the woman said right there at the end, we need to know this question because these girls have fluctuating bodies at this time because of their hormones. It could cause stress fractures. It could cause a number of things. So it's a very valid question. I don't know why these alternative lifestyle communities, to keep it PC, have to make a problem out of things when there isn't a problem. They're just looking for some way to target and point a finger and say, you're doing this to us. And it's not even nothing about that.
A part of what I got out of that whole clip was the numbers. I think they said it was, I'm just throwing them out there. I'm not sure about the exact number, but it was like 12 guys, men, and only 2 women. I wonder how would that vote have gone had it been 6-6, or 8-8 or whatever, 50-50 down the middle. Would the vote have been different? Would the vote been the same? Because a lot of times we as men think that, and people can talk about the order of things, and that's fine, but we speak out for women in situations that we don't have anything or have no knowledge on. And so how are we to speak? We've never been a woman. And so for us to speak for a woman and say, well, this is what you should do, I think we overstep ourselves sometimes. I really think
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying there, but I think even if the panel was 50-50 or if it was 100% women, I almost can guarantee you that those questions would still be on the paperwork because they had a 50-50 split right there between the 2 women.
Yeah, exactly. But we know how the men vote. The men voted to have it removed, and because of that, I don't know. I'm not gonna say because of the outpour of the community, but that question was absolutely taken off. It's so much time in this thing. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
I mean, it's nothing really. I mean, once again, there's a time and place for everything. I don't agree with the transgenders, having the problems or the issues that they have with it, but at the same time, I can understand the intrusion of the question. So now, once again, you have to have a reason to justify a question being posed in such a way. And if they could justify it by the fact of, saying, well, hey, it's about, the fact that this woman may be pregnant. She's out here trying to compete and she hasn't had her menstrual cycle in 2 months. I know some women that actually had their menstrual cycle for the first 5 months and didn't know.
Yeah.
Until after they were 5 months. I mean, so that might not be, to me, if it gets to that point, you just give them pregnancy tests before each event, just like you give them drug tests. I mean, man, this system, man, these systems and institutions, there are so many ways that they try to, regulate and have oversight to make sure people aren't cheating or manipulating, certain environments or situations that they're involved in. But then at the same time, they don't have certain measures up to prevent abuse or manipulation of certain things. So, they always trying to find a way to make sure they can keep something sort of pure, something legal or level, equal, from the fact that, somehow with everything you do, people are going to find some type of way to manipulate it. I mean, I don't care what you come up with. And even if the intention was good, somebody's going to find a way to manipulate it and use it in a way that it shouldn't be used. So, I mean, I guess, in the event that they asked that question, it was a reason why, along with, the pregnancy issue or the fact, that women may be pregnant, but along also, with the fact that the transgenders may be competing. So, I just think, transgenders probably shouldn't have been so offended, but at the same time, they probably should just, have rewritten the question and put more thought process into it. But I can honestly say that, just dealing in my situation, calling and talking to state legislators and, to try to get some of the things done with my son, I see now that most of these people can't identify with some of the things that they writing laws and rules about. it's all really just an outside, surface level understanding of how deep some of these situations can go. So they vote on these things, or they draft these measures, and they don't think about how they word them, because they don't come to this. They don't come from that community. I think yesterday we was talking about how sometimes people can be racist, but they don't even understand that they're saying racist things. They never said the N word, but at the same time, they couldn't understand from our point of view how some things could be taken racist, because they never had to understand how it felt to look at somebody in blackface.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you got people in office that are put and voted into positions to write laws and vote and make decisions and draft questions, and they don't really even know how to be sensitive enough or be considerate enough of how it sounds to certain communities, then you're going to continue to have these issues. That's where diversity comes in.
Exactly.
So you can have input. That's why when you're in Congress, they have these people that, you should have a diverse staff to help you write bills, so it actually benefits or doesn't hurt a certain population. That's where representation comes in. So these people write these questions, man, and make these laws and these bills, and some of them, they make them and they don't even come from the community that they're enforcing them on. So they don't have no understanding of how it impacts or how it comes off.
Exactly. And that's a big part of the problem. That's a huge part of the problem right there. Cassandra, good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, we're talking about Florida, and the state of Florida had on sports application that people, not just female, but people fill out to play sports in the state of Florida. But on that thing, it had a question about when was your last menstrual cycle. Naturally, that was geared toward the women. When was your last menstrual cycle and the date? And there was a big uproar. People came together and protested. They had a board meeting. They removed that question off. They said that the reason why they had that question on there, and I wish I could find the clip because they actually went in detail about that part. They said that the reason why they had that on there is because they wanted to make sure that the person wasn't transgender, trying to play in the sports like that and have an unfair advantage. But is that question itself, when was your last menstrual cycle and the date?
Hey, Raheem.
Yes.
Where's the article where you
That's
found
what
or
that's what I say. I
clip that
keep
says
trying to find it.
transgender?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
trying to find it. Yeah. But my question, Cassandra, is this right here. It's even asking that question too much. Is that crossing the line?
I'm offended by it, and I'm a full woman. I mean, what the heck? If you no, I just don't like.
Cassandra,
No.
you're going in and out a little bit on us. You're going in and out a little bit on us.
Okay, I'm driving, so I may just be in a patch area.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I'm offended by that. So I can understand how other people would be offended. I think that Florida is doing too much. They're against everything, everybody. It doesn't matter. DeSantis is trying to run for president or whatever his name is over there, and he is doing and saying a little bit of everything. And I don't know. I think the question is inappropriate, or it wasn't written right. Somebody. Okay, I don't want to say what else. No, it's a no for me.
Yeah.
The question is not the question.
Good deal. Badger?
I was actually I was deciding to make a comment or not, because Cassandra kind of beat me to it. And it's definitely a particular person's country over in Florida and the way he thinks. So I mean, I couldn't find anything that was saying that it was specifically for transgenders, or is why they were asking, because it's been on there for minimum of 2 decades. So that's why I was wondering if you could show me who said that it was. But that, like, they're
Now,
so.
you could try if you want to, you got a little more freedom than I do because I got a lot of things going on, a lot of
I'll try again.
But I saw it on the Atlanta News this morning. It was on the Atlanta News Channel 2.
Okay, I'll see if I can pinpoint it.
Okay.
Here's my thing, right? If that is something that could be used to make sure that they are healthy when they are doing said sports, understandable.
Mm-hmm.
If it's optional, there's another dynamic, right? But who is going to see that information and who isn't? Because from the bits and pieces of what I was hearing, they don't think a coach should need to know, and the coach isn't a medical doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the nurse finding out, I don't think parents would have had an issue with that if it was a nurse or a doctor or someone in the medical field. But what does a state rep need to have it for? So, like, if it's for medical information for the medical people that are over the sports in the school or whatever, as far as I know, that goes into the HIPAA stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't looked into all their regulations with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what to think sometimes anymore. It seems like every time we turn around, Florida's doing something stranger and worse, but I can't say much because I live in Texas.
Wow.
We're still fighting for boys to be able to grow their hair out long. And I'm not talking about because they're female. I'm like, in my native culture and different other cultures, you grow the hair out for different reasons, or you braid it or whatever. There's still schools in Texas that you can't even braid your hair.
Wow.
So
And
if you're a male.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
You say
I was gonna say, man, I didn't know Badger was finished. Go ahead, Badger, but I want to, touch on something Badger said real quick.
Mm-hmm. He did say Florida's always doing something. So I'm gonna tell you one of my favorite songs. Let's give them something to talk about. Let's give them something. Y'all don't know about this song. Y'all don't know. Y'all go ahead, Rico.
Well, I was glad he brought that up because he came back and said, well, look at Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to Texas and buy whatever gun you want to.
Yeah.
And then some people say, well, look at California. So, the reason why I say that because, we have been programmed to get distracted and fool ourselves into thinking Florida is just that state.
Mm-hmm.
California is just that state. Oh, my goodness, look at Texas when it's really and truly the United States.
Mm-hmm.
State by state, we have one thing in common historically. There has been a problem. And the problem is you have people that make rules that other people have to abide by, and they don't even know where they came from. We have an issue where you have a certain dynamic or a certain gender of men from a certain sector that wants to control whether a woman has an abortion or not. You have people that want to create laws to stop the super predators, but they don't even want to stop what create the super predators.
Mm-hmm.
So now we got more super predators under the same guy that made the name that was so adamant about it up on the Biden. You have too many people making laws that to enforce or use against other people, and they don't come from that walk of life. And so now you take the people that run Florida that does all these crazy things we're talking about, predominantly white males. Texas, predominantly white males. And this same concept, this same system has gone on since this country has began.
Mm-hmm.
Since slavery. So now we're in a situation where once again, we're addressing a situation where people are trying to find a way to make some rules or to implement a system, and they don't even know how to ask the right questions. So now, like, Badger was like, well, he didn't see that part about the transgender.
Mm-hmm.
And that might not come up. He might not find it. But guess what? Cassandra felt offended too. See, so even if it wasn't about the transgender, there are women that feel some type of way about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it might not be relevant at this point in time. And without them being able to justify why they asked that question, They may just be some white men that don't understand that question was unnecessary.
Wow.
You know, so that's really, we see this going on over and over and over again, where laws and rules are put in place, and we are made to do by these rules or follow these rules or abide by them. But they are put in place by people that don't relate to everybody. They don't relate to everybody. They don't know how to put these questions the right way. And so, you know, I think this is a key time for people to start trying to understand why diversity is necessary, so everybody can be represented and everybody can, you know, I guess the laws can be made better to benefit everybody else and not be a detriment to some people, because some of these laws we have, they are a detriment to others. Like Cassandra was offended, might be a lot of other women offended too.
Yeah.
Just like they're offended by being told what to do with their bodies.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Ryan, talk to me, brother.
I think I'm a refrain a little bit, because the subject's starting to change course in a direction that it don't need to go. But when you talk about Florida always have something crazy going on. That's true. All the craziest stuff that I see always come out of Florida, right? But I think we have to be careful playing the game of, hey, that's a red state. It's not blue, so that's why it's crazy. We got to stop playing this game. And that's what we were talking about when I was on the show a few days ago with you, is it's a game. And you see it right here in this conversation. It's that putting it at each other, right? It's right and left, red and blue, playing this game when none of that means nothing. It shouldn't mean nothing to nobody, because it's just a game. It's just a way to keep us distracted and moving off topic. So that's all I got to say. I'm a refrain from talking anymore about it.
Okay. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
You gonna have me in the corner with him too?
Oh Lord, here we go. Y'all gonna be over there playing checkers or something. Checkers or chess. I don't know what y'all gonna be playing.
It's kind of like the whole thing, right? Sometimes there's a hidden agenda.
Yeah.
Just for somebody to say, "Hey, I want to be heard." And every conversation don't necessarily need to be had. It is what it is. I mean, it's plain and simple. I mean, there's reasons why they ask the questions, or maybe some people always gonna have a rebuttal about whatever it is. I'll raise my hand. I don't agree. Just for attention.
Yeah.
And there's certain groups of people want the world to be all about them. And if you don't change with me, you got to be careful what you say and do, because if you do, I'm going to raise a flag. So if you don't want to, then the parent steps in and says, I'd rather not have my child participate in the sports in the first place. Move right along.
Wow. Wow.
End of topic.
End of topic. Toya with a T? Toya, wake
Yeah,
up.
basically, I mean, that's about it. You know, we all have choices and decisions to be a part of or not be a part of, and we have to stop letting things get us off course. You know, I think one of the craziest things about America is this division that we try to keep up because of somebody else's beliefs. And I think that's kind of where Brian was going, because when you look at red and blue, a lot of us have the same beliefs, but it's the disbeliefs that they use to say Democratic and, you know what I'm saying, Republican and Libertarian, you know what I'm saying?
The divide.
He made a valid point, helping us again to not be distracted by what we disagree on, because we're different. What the green pepper look like being mad with the red pepper, being mad with the yellow pepper, because they different colors. It makes no sense. But now, if you got another vegetable doing something wrong or bad that's against the culture of vegetables, then that's what we need to be getting mad at.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes us humans, we show exactly how special we are past animals, past the trees, because everything else in this world can get along except for us humans. And we got the most power. So again, for me, the same way I got an issue with an adulterer who uses women and a pimp, I got issues with that. But I don't want them dead, dragged out in the middle of the streets. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same way when it comes to this LGBTQ community. I don't agree with what they do, but if that's their life, that's what they do. That's on them, just like every other race and every other culture, right? But when you start to denying people jobs to be able to take care of themselves, wanting to hurt people because of it, wanting to block people because of it, wanting to manipulate me and have a man run against me when you know I'm the best in this game right here, and then give them more favoritism because they are that, you ain't no better than any other race or issue we've had according to humanity, just because you're a transgender or lesbian or whatever. You're no better than the rest of us because you turn around, got your rights, and did the same exact thing everybody else did, that everybody else had to fight for rights. So I try to be a real human and stay focused and let everybody know I love you and God love you too. And you better not let nobody tell you that God don't love you because you know tranny, honey. But everybody is not as welcoming. So whatever you do in life, you got to be strong. And I'm going to be real. Yeah, it bothered me too. But that has nothing to do with we making sure that I'm a good human and making sure that everybody else get the same rights. And that's what we need to be focused on, being good humans and making sure that we all are treated fairly regardless of our dislikes.
Sometimes, Toya, when we get a victory, I'm talking about we as human beings. When we get a victory, do we become the very thing that we fought against, the very thing that we hate?
Absolutely. Even sometimes when we don't get a victory, because it's things as individuals, no matter what we are, you can be tranny, no matter what color. Oftentimes we fight not to be like or something that we did when we grow up. And that very fight, we get lost in it and wind up turning into the exact thing we said we would never be, because we done got lost in the sauce in this game, because we steady trying to, instead of me trying to be a black female, I'm just trying to be a human. And if everybody else identifies me as a black female, then okay, that's cool. But I'm not going to carry what the stereotype is of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I just focus on being a good person. And I think if everybody does that, all these other little ghost issues that they say that's coming up, we wouldn't even see it, because we know who we really are on, you know what I'm saying, in our communities, and not just what media is saying we are trying to create more of a division.
Exactly, Zamari.
So I found your article. I don't know if you saw what I put in the chat or not.
I did.
But so I can read this to you, what this was saying. Okay. One of the comments was, some called the question humiliating and invasive, and others suggested they were connected to a recent bill barring transgender girls and women from playing on public school teams intended for student athletes identified as girls at birth. So the key word there is they suggested that this was connected to this transgender bill barring transgender girls. But again, those optional questions have been on that form for 20 years. 20 years ago, this wasn't an issue, not on the scale that it is now. 20 years ago, you wouldn't have had transgender women trying to play.
But see, my thing is 20, 30 years ago, I was still having an issue with that question being asked of one of my daughters.
Okay,
and I understand what you say. I understand what you're saying about the transgender situation and how there may be a movement now during this time because of that push. I understand that part, but my thing is, even to ask my daughter that question, when was your last menstrual cycle? I got 4 girls. Man, what are you asking my daughter that for? Okay. Why are you asking my daughter about her cycle? What are they gonna do for her for or against her playing sports? But go ahead, sis.
Well, the other thing that they said too, and this is from a letter. This was from a letter. This other comment was from a letter from some doctor when they were receiving all of this pushback about these questions. Okay. And she said the only reason is to weed out transgender kids who may not have periods. That's what the doctor said. So the transgender issue was never, or being thrown into the mix was never anything put out by Florida itself. It was by the pushback of those letters coming in. But there was another thing that I as a woman, I forget about this sometimes too. And it was in that clip that you played. And at the end of the clip, they were talking about when a woman does not have her menstrual cycle regularly, or even after a woman has gone through menopause and they no longer have their menstrual cycles, they are right in saying, yes, we are more prone to breaks and fractures. If you are a healthy 20, 30 something year old woman and you're not having your menstrual cycle, you are more prone to that. That absolutely plays a role in our overall bodily health. So with the athletes, if their menstrual cycle is not regulated, or maybe it's just off because, like it said, so there's such a certain percentage of women who do lose that because they're athletes. So if they are more prone to those breaks and they need to know this on an athletic form for those reasons, I think that's important.
Would it be an issue? And I'm just reaching out here for a second, and we're gonna talk about this for just a few more minutes, and we're gonna move on to something else. But would it be an issue if that young lady that you're talking about that don't have a cycle regularly for whatever reason, and she put on there, well, I haven't had one, or I don't have them, or just don't have a date, and they categorize her as a transgender because they unknowingly say, well, you don't have a cycle. Women have cycles, so why don't you have a cycle? Because you're a transgender, and they put her in that category. Would that be an issue?
Yeah, I mean, but they also understand, like I said, that a certain percentage of women do lose their cycle.
Yeah.
If she is a girl who is normally extremely athletic and she just happens to be in that percentage of girls who lose their cycle, you're not going to, I would think anyway, and I would hope that they aren't going to automatically throw her into that category of being transgender.
Yeah. My point. Exactly. Good deal. Good deal. Goddess, what's on your heart, sis? Goddess, you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry. Had to find the mute button. I'm basically over with the conversation. I mean, you can't read no more into it. Our society is just at a point where we either need to stand up and, I mean, we're either too soft or nobody's standing up for who exactly that we are. I mean, they want to stand up for everything else, but we just got to come to the point where we have to realize there's just one way to come about it. A tree's a tree. I don't care how you put it. A tree is a tree. Some trees are different names or whatever, but a tree is a tree.
Absolutely.
I mean, it even gets to the point where we are just so sensitive to what we read. I mean, what books are being presented. Well, we had to go through it. Then there's no problem for you to have to read it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just going a little bit too far. And we got to stick together and make a stance.
Exactly. Cassandra? Cassandra, you there? Cassandra may be in a bad spot. Tucson, anything on your heart before
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello.
What's on your heart, sis?
Yeah, for me, exclusion of people for any reason
you know, I'm not talking about somebody being a pedophile or something like that. I'm talking about because of gender, race, and any of that. It's a no for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. It's a total no for me.
Mm-hmm.
And people, and especially people, we should know better than any other group what it's like to be ostracized because of our color or you know, whatever. Your eyes ain't the right color. You know, you're too big. You know, and we have to stop that. So, you know, I'm just a no for anybody, you know,
Categorizing.
trying to hurt people, categorizing people for things like that. I have a problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tucson, then we're going to end it up with Rico. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
No, I mean, we live in a society, you just, it's kind of like we've conformed to, you ready, Raheem?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's your thing.
Oh, Lord.
Do what you want to do. I can't tell you.
Ryan, cover your ears, man. Your ears can bleed with that terrible singing. Cover your ears, brother.
I mean, you know, just do what you do. I mean, just do what you do. I mean, people do what you do. But see, what's happening is, and we could move on. I can't make you me. I'm not looking for you to accept me. I am who I am. And I'm gonna walk in my shoes, but I can't make you like me or feel certain ways about how I live my life. At the end of the day, who cares? We want to publicize our private matters. We want to raise a flag when anybody say anything about it. Do what you do. Just go on. Because, you know, really, go on somewhere. But at the same time, this thing that they're asking, it is what it is. If you don't want to answer it, you don't have to. You really don't have to.
Yeah.
But this been going on for 20 years. So I'm pretty sure along the way, somebody has turned the form in blank.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Rico?
Now, you know, we live in a time now where they say any publicity is good publicity, right? Well, first, let me say I want to thank Brian, because Brian really said what I was trying to say. I just didn't say red and blue. I said Florida and California. But we know those two main nouns, those proper nouns would change places anytime. 1 minute they'll be California, 1 minute they'll be Florida, 1 minute they'll be Texas. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so he's right. That's distraction. That's what I was trying to say. They distract us. And once again, this whole hour and a half we've been on here, we got played. You know, sometimes we get fooled by agenda and influence. And along with any publicity being good publicity, sometimes people might go back and say, you know that song made by Aretha Franklin, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman? Let's take this opportunity to start something for our agenda.
Yeah.
Cancel that after 40 years. So now, Zamari, thank you. Because you read every word and you just didn't look at the words that was exciting. But you looked at the plain little words like suggest, which means that there is an accusation that this is what that could do or what this meant, even though it's been around for 20 years. So what we did, we just gave the transgender community all the energy they need to make an issue about something that wasn't an issue. Now, if they can prove that it affects them, then maybe it can be altered. But that wasn't put in place for them. It sounded to me like it was put in place for everything that Zamari was saying, for the health reasons, for the fact that it could be, you know, detrimental if a woman was pregnant, or, you know, all these different health things. I don't know. I'm not a woman, but I'm pretty sure doctors know. And I'm pretty sure coaches have to be made aware to make sure that they coach girls a certain way, boys too. I mean, we have to go through concussion protocol. I mean, everybody has to be aware of the health of these people. If this was an athletic thing, and it's been in the books for over 20 years, and they actually said that it had something to do about the health of women, then what we did, we just played a part of the LGBT community's game of agenda and influence and gave them all the positive energy they needed just by giving it energy and making an issue out of it that didn't exist. We shouldn't even been talking about this. Sometimes you have to nip stuff in the bud when it really, until they prove it's a legitimate complaint. You come to me talking about some canceling Aretha Franklin and because you make me feel like a natural woman is offensive. I ain't got to talk nothing else about that no more. Go on somewhere else for somebody else to hear that mess. See, when you don't give it attention or give it energy, this nonsense, then it dies. But see, we'll give it attention.
But see, what you
know
got to
what I'm saying?
understand too.
That's what human beings do. We'll give it attention and unconsciously give them leverage on agendas that really don't make no sense. That's how the Holocaust survived. That's how, all these different things, the negative energy that we see going on, and we like, what's going on? It's the fact that we even entertain it instead of nipping it in the bud when they first started. But now, if they have a legitimate reason to complain about that, then come with it. But for right now, from what I'm seeing, suggest means now they want to accuse or just put it in the air that they did this against us.
Yeah.
Now
let me
we
say
got
this though,
another
Rico.
fight. We got another fight, y'all. Come on, let's go and fight this fight too. We're just gonna take over.
Okay, Rico, hold on for a second. let me say this. Let me say I understand what you're saying, and you're making a lot of great points. But my thing is right here. We have to, being who we are, address the issues that's going on. That's an issue that's going on, and so one of the reasons why we talk about it, pretty much everything that we talk about, is to shed our light on it and how we feel about it. That's why it's a very important question I ask everybody every time I talk to somebody. What's on your heart? Because I don't ask what's on my heart or tell me what I want to hear. I ask what's on your heart, and from that question, we can shed the light on it the way that we want to shed the light, how we see it. But
okay, well,
we have to have the dialogue.
This wasn't just directly at you. This is
I know. I just say that for the listeners. I know what you meant, though, brother. I know exactly what you meant. Okay.
Yeah, I just meant for society in general. This is how we have been brainwashed. This is how we get distracted. This is how agendas get thrown out. You know what I'm saying? It picks up momentum because people actually start making conversation about it. And before you know it, it becomes an issue when it shouldn't have been an issue. Because right now, this probably shouldn't be the issue that they're making it. Especially if it's been around for 20 years. And according to the way Zamari read it, they are the ones making this suggestion. And we're assuming that what they're suggesting is true, but it's been on the books for 20 years, so it might not make too much sense.
Why
if you
now?
just look at that part of it.
Why now? Why is it a problem now in this day and time? If it's been there for 20 years, why now? Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. Absolutely. I'm gonna tell you, anybody have anything else they want to say on this topic before we move on? Y'all shaking y'all head. No, y'all all be shaming yourself. But we're going to go down another road, and like I said, we talk about things that's happening. We give our opinion on it. I know how I feel about it. I may even give my opinion at the end. But this is something right here. Let me start with Ryan. Ryan, I'm gonna start this off with you, brother. I'm taking the tennis ball. I'm hitting it in your court. I want you to hit it back. If a couple is married and they've been married 10 years. They've been married for 10 years. And it's not your typical marriage. She's gone to school. She has all these degrees and go out and get a fantastic job. They have kids. So they say, listen, I can go out and get a job where I can make the money to sustain the family. You stay home as the man. You stay home in the household. You be a house husband, raise the kids. Don't worry about working. I make enough money to carry the house. Now, after 10 years, they fall apart, split up, go their own way. Talk about divorce. He hasn't worked in 10 years, been a house husband. should he suspect alimony? Should he suspect for her to pay him? Much like, yeah.
So I guess if you want to look at it, hell yeah. but go in my corner. I mean, so man, that's one of those questions that plays with your mind as a man. Just to tell on her, my wife, she don't work at all. She stay at home and work on them kids and work on the house.
Yeah.
And that's I can't even call it a burden, but that's something I shoulder, right?
Yeah.
I've busted my behind for the 20 years we've been together. And she would have a right if I was just one day to be like, all right, bye. to get that alimony. But at the same time, as a man, or the man that I am, she wouldn't even have to ask for it. I would just take care of her and my kids.
Okay, hold on. Let's stay with me. As a man, should a man? Because I understand that, and women, that it happens. It's set up.
I'm getting back to it.
Okay.
Getting back to it. I'm prefacing. Okay. So if the shoe was on the other foot, and I was at home taking care of the kids and take care of the house and all of that stuff, I would hope that she would do the same for me, right? If she decided, well, I'm not feeling this no more. Those children came from her womb, so I would think that either she's going to take them with her, or I'm keeping them because I'm the one that's been solely, doing everything in the house. That she would take care of her business, right? Would I ask for it? No, I would never ask for it because why? I see what it does to people on a daily basis, being a supervisor where I'm at.
Yeah.
That money getting pulled out of checks and how it destroys that person's life and all of that stuff. But I just couldn't see myself asking for it. Would I receive it? Probably not. I would reject it. I don't want it. Or I can go to work. I can go ahead and pick up where things were left off, right? It's a tough subject. It's not a touchy subject. It's just a tough subject because us as men, we have a mindset, most of us anyway. And that mindset is,
I don't need you to take care of me. I take care of myself. I need you to take care of me.
Right. Well, I mean, but that's how we're programmed. That's how we're programmed from the beginning. Like, even though we all different in our subtle ways, our DNA as a man is take care of business, work. That's what your body was created for. That's why you have testosterone. She has estrogen. You know what I'm saying? We're just built different. And so I guess if you super soft, then you probably ask for it.
Yeah. Good deal. Toya with a T. What do you say to that? Should he expect alimony? Should he been a house husband for 10 years? Hasn't been in the workforce and starting all over brand new. Should he expect that support from her after the breakup?
Well, you already know me. I don't think so. However, y'all came to a mutual agreement, understanding that one does that, and they prohibited their abilities to be able to make money, and you, Beyonce, then But just because I'm making $100,000 a year, and if you don't get your crummy behind up and get you a job, that's not no money to be looking for no alimony, no little 100,000. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, I'm sorry, I'm a numbers girl.
Toya, let me ask you a question. Let me jump in just 1 second. But and we're gonna get to this point. But is there a double standard in that? Because if the roles were reversed, if she were the housewife and hadn't worked in 10 years, the court system is going to make
You
sure
said
that
wife, right?
this man, the court system going to make sure that she get the money that she quote unquote so rightfully deserved. So if he's been a house husband for 10 years, yeah, exactly. That's why I say it's a double standard.
Yeah, because we're women.
Wow.
Just like it's a whole lot of other things. It's a double standard on how we use the restroom. It's a double standard that y'all don't get cramps. I mean, it is what it is. What do you mean? You're talking about a woman. We're not the same. We're different, right? So if we're different, that means there are certain qualifications that come with us. The reason why we got to get the money is because 9 times out of 10, we are the ones that carry the children. 9 times out of 10, we are the ones to take care of the children.
We didn't
Long
assign that.
time ago.
We didn't assign that though. We didn't assign that
It's not about
responsibility.
what you mean. It's not about it being an assignment.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ryan just said, some of us are just built and created because that's how we go. This is some future stuff that men are really taking care of the kids. Like 100 years ago, a man couldn't deal with what? Because the aerodynamics on how we built, it just wasn't. So that's some stuff we're doing now. We're integrating. We want to break out of those roles. So now, dad is like, I'm gonna take care of my kids.
I wish I could see your face right now, sis. I wish I could see your face.
I'm sitting up here amused right now, but I get it. I'm trapped in society. So I already know a guy gonna get me if I got bread, but I'm cool with that too, because I'm a G all the way around.
It's such a double standard though, because you by birth, y'all supposed to get it, but if roles were reversed and this man stayed at home and did the same thing that you all did if y'all stayed at home, took care of everything, ran the household. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
what did I just? You was a man, Harpo. You was a man, Harpo.
So the difference,
you don't get the same benefits a woman get, Harpo, because you a man, Harpo. Oh well, then let me open up the door for you too, baby. Hold on.
So basically, what I'm hearing you say, and I just want to deal with the double standard side of this thing.
Let me get that car door. Wait, baby. Wait. Don't you touch, sir? Don't you touch that car door, sir.
I understand what you're saying, but my thing is this right here, though. That's such a double standard, though.
I know it. And when I get home, I want my food cooked too.
And he does all that. He's a house husband.
Okay.
He makes sure all this stuff is done. But when there's a divide after 10 years, this man has not worked in 10 years, has not been in the workforce in over 10 years because he took on the responsibility.
You ain't went to school either?
I don't know. But listen to
me. Lazy lima bean.
But see, now he's a lazy lima bean because of the fact that he's spent 10 years taking care of the household. Now he's a lazy lima bean. But he wasn't a lazy lima bean.
If you're a woman,
he was a good man.
Home and you don't do nothing.
You still get a check at the end. You still get a check at the end.
But you a woman.
Wow. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Man, you really gonna have to break down that original scenario again for me, man, because the school had called me and I clicked over.
Okay.
From down in Florida, so I didn't hear what you had said.
Okay, well, it's like this, man. If the couple are together, husband and wife, they're together, been together for a while, 10 years, happily together for 10 years. Has all the degrees and stuff like that, so she's actually able to go out there and get a better job than he could get. So they have a conversation, and they say, "Well, look, you can go out there, you can get the 6-figure job. Go out there, get the job. I'll stay home. We got kids. I'll stay home, raise the kids. I'll be a house husband while you go out there and make the money." Okay. After 10 years, they divide, they split up. They split up. Should he get alimony? Like if the roles were reversed, the court can automatically give the woman alimony and all the stuff that she's supposed to get because of the fact she's been a housewife for 10 years. Should he expect the same thing?
Well, you just said it. If the wife been getting it and she was the homemaker and the roles were reversed and he was the homemaker, then that's the way the law is set up. You know what I'm saying? The breadwinner got to take care of the homemaker. I mean, how deep can you go into that? You get what I'm saying? I can't even shoot no more energy to that. That is what it is.
But in double standard, like our sister Toya was saying, that he's a man. Go out there and get you a job. Lazy bum. Go out there and work.
Well, that's pretty much what probably the women do too. But saying she still got to give up that alimony. The reason why they do it is they call it keeping up a certain lifestyle for the children and the family. That's the reason why. I mean, do they tell women that when it comes time for child support? No.
Mm.
So I mean, if the man is in that same situation, and he was a homemaker, he was a provider, and she was the breadwinner, then she, you know, hey, that just come with the territory. It is what it is. I mean, if anybody wants to try to come and make that a time to say, well, you know what, let's use some separate rules, then that goes to show you that inconsistency.
Mm.
I mean, it is what it is, and that. And I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man's man. You know, but hey, that's what the law is. He's been. I mean, you know, she's the breadwinner.
Wow.
It's simple. I mean, if it ain't no. No, I can't go no deeper into that, man. That's crazy for me to even try to break that down and make it seem like it should be something different.
Wow. Cassandra, what do you say to that? Do you think he should he get it?
Yes, he should.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely should get it. If he spent the time at home taking care of the children, she's been the main financial provider. He definitely is entitled to alimony, and she shouldn't even complain about that because she knows what he's done. So yeah, that's a simple one for me. Yes, he should get alimony.
Okay, that's good. Goddess, what do you say? Should he get it?
I think that if he has been faithful and he has not went outside his marriage and done what he's supposed to do, I think he should get it.
Okay.
I mean, I think that he's if he's you know, I don't know. I think he should get it if he was being the house husband and taking care of the kids and he was doing the best that he can do. But as making sure, but I don't know. I'll take that back. I think a man should be a man and we shouldn't have to settle for less than a man. Now, I feel like he should be awarded something if he's been the best husband, like, because I was a woman that made more than my husband, but he was a man's man. He still went out and worked. He still worked 2 jobs. He did it. I mean, he worked his regular job, but I still made more money than him. But he put me in a position where I could, so I would never leave him in a situation, even if we separated. So that's on a personal thing of how you feel with your marriage. But I think women are women and men should be men. And
is he not?
Bear men.
Is he not a man because the relationship ended because, you know, he was a good man while he was at home being a house husband, taking care of everything while he afforded her the opportunity to go out there and make the money that she was making. He was a good man during that time, but because of the fact that they split up or have a difference of opinion or whatever, and now they decide to no longer be together. Now he's not a man anymore. He should gotta go be a man.
He's definitely still a man because it takes a man to be able to come home and take that role of supporting his wife. I think that's very important, and I personally will never take that away from any man, because that is a big, huge role that I know several husbands. My girlfriend's a attorney. Her husband, she's a big, huge, powerful attorney, but her husband basically does, the roles are switched in the household. And he's very supportive. So I just think that he should, but she shouldn't have to take to the point where she is also her kids, because her kids are going to be lacking too. So I don't know. That's a tough decision for me to say, but I do think there should be some type of support.
That's good. That's good
on that behalf. So
Badger, what do you say to that? Should he get alimony? Should he get some compensation from this until he's able to get on his feet or whatever?
I'm with Rico and Cassandra. I don't see why not. I mean, we all acknowledge how much work that actually goes into taking care of a home, making sure everything's clean, kids are taken care of. It is a full-time job.
Yeah.
And they don't even get paid minimum wage. They get a roof over their head and food in the fridge and whatever. I don't see why not. It is a full-time job.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's good. That's good. Zamar, talk to me, sister. What's on your heart about this? Should he get it? Should he not get it? Should he be a man and go out there and get a job and start all over? Start over. Be a man. Wrong with you? Want that woman money?
Look, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. So if the woman can get alimony and she hasn't worked for X amount of years, then it should be the same for the man. And I was just actually looking this up too, and you said 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So at 10 years, they can only receive alimony for 50% of how is this worded? Of the length of the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's 10 years, they can only receive alimony for 5 years. And from what I am reading, most states now have made this gender neutral, where either partner can receive. If it's 20 years or longer in the marriage, there's no limit to how long you can receive alimony. But if somebody has not worked, if the man has not worked in all of that time, that is going to take him some time to get back on his feet.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to just get up and pick up a job just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people, if you've been out of the workforce for that long, they're going to go, I don't know. A lot of places don't want to hire you right off.
Yeah.
So, I would support my I guess it'd be my ex-husband and help him get back on his feet for sure. That wouldn't be fair.
Mm-hmm.
I would absolutely help him out with that. And and like my husband said, he probably wouldn't even have to ask.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's good. That's good. Captain, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Captain, you there?
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
There you go. There you go.
Good. Thank you for asking.
Cap, we got.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, good morning to you, sir. Good to have you. We asking a question this morning. A couple has been married for 10 years. She's very educated, able to go out there and get a 6-figure job just from off her education. Go out there and do that. But in the course of her doing that, her and her husband have a conversation, and he said, they decide that, she's more equipped to get a better job, more money. So he's stay at home and be a house husband. 10 years. After 10 years, they decide that, I don't want to do this anymore. Whoever it is, decide they don't want to do it any longer. Should he be afforded alimony at that time, or should he be a man and go out there and just get a job and start? Hadn't worked in 10 years. Should he get the alimony from this young lady?
Well, I don't know. I think it has something to do with his own ego as a man. If he feels, that he deserves alimony because he chose to stay at home, to be a home mom because she makes more money. I think that was a choice he chose to make. I don't see how. I guess unless she got a lot of paper, that she got a lot of money, and he's doing bad, I can understand that. But I think his own ego as a man should want him to go out there and get back into the job force and get himself a job just for his own self-esteem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If he feels that, that the breakup or the divorce was one that it became controversy with the two about, what his commitment has been to this relationship. And he says, for 10 years, I did X, Y, and Z, and you went to work, and I think I deserve it. I think that's an issue that the court has to decide.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, does he want the alimony because he needs it, or do he want the alimony because it is justified due to him? But of course, being a man, regardless whether he get it or not, he can't live off of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has to still, get a job, and I think that's what it comes down to. He still got to be a man and go out there and get him a job to provide for himself or provide for his family. It just makes sense. But if he's going after because he believes he has the right and it's due to him justly, or is he going after because he's not working no more? He hasn't went out and got another job. But there's a reason he cannot get a job. It could be health issues. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I think for his own self-ego, he'll go get him a job. I think if he any kind of man, he may be qualified for the alimony. I mean, if that's it, that's it. But it'd be hard for me to be thinking about trying to get there unless me and the old girl just had an argument throughout the divorce. And then I said, no, you got to give me X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's basically what's on my heart right now.
Good deal. Good deal. Tucson, what do you say to that, man? Tucson, should he expect it? Should he get it? Or do you think he would even want it?
When y'all started talking about this and I was listening to everybody, I thought that it ran my mind to the lyrics of the song, "Those Were the Days."
Mm-hmm.
Archie Bunker and his wife.
Yeah, Edith. Mm-hmm.
The beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The part I thought about was, and when you were there, girls were girls and men were men.
Mm-hmm.
But now, we live in society that the bag is more important than anything.
Mm.
Getting that bag, making that money, and doing good for yourself. For whatever reason, if it's even a need to take care of the home, because some people live traveling. They're mobile people.
Mm-hmm.
They go so much, they don't even need a roof over their head because they stay in hotels most of their lives at the beginning of a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that too. They wait till they're almost 40 to start having children because the bag is important.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna send you through college. I'm gonna stay at home. I'm gonna make sure that if there's something, I'll wash dishes and everything else. Matter of fact, I'll run your bath water when you get back.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got this plan that even at the beginning, before we even think about bringing somebody else into the world, we gonna make sure that we set.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing about it is, and don't get mad at me, because I've been wanting to say this.
Oh Lord.
Don't get mad.
I'm about to.
But there are some women that been wanting to wear the pants.
Mm.
They've been itching for it for a long time. They want us to be, if we could, barefoot and pregnant.
Wow.
And we fell for it.
Mm.
Because there are some men that it shows that they've been wanting to wear a dress and they putting them on nowadays, and they got high heel shoes and eyelashes and long hair and breasts to match.
Good Lord.
Their desire to be who those were the days.
Mm.
Boy, the way that Glenn Miller played songs that made the hit parade.
Okay, Tucson. Okay, Tucson. You know where it's at. You know where it's at, brother. Leonard, Leonard, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family.
Hey man, we actually
My man, something else.
Man, look at Tucson. You know, man, that's all you can say, Tucson. But listen,
Oh,
man.
I came in. I'm not sure. I came in. Tucson was making somebody bath water, and I don't know what's going on. So what we got going this morning?
Asking a question: if a couple together, they've been married, been married for 10 years, been married for 10 years. She has great credentials, man. Have all kind of degrees, They decide because she's able to get a better job because of her degrees. Excuse me, that he's gonna be a house husband. She's going out to get the 6-figure job. After 10 years, they decide they don't want to do it any longer. They don't want to do it any longer, and so they separate. Should he expect alimony from this? He hadn't worked in 10 years. He's been a house husband. Should he expect alimony?
Yes,
Why?
because that's the way alimony is set up. You have to prove to the point that the reason why you weren't out actively doing something was because your spouse had made that deal with you. And that's the deal you depended on. That's what alimony is about.
So,
you know, alimony is a legal issue, and that's what it's for. So you know, it's for any type of relationship where one spouse guarantees another spouse that they're going to do these things in exchange for this. And when you break that agreement and that contract, you are liable for that.
Wow. So like it's been said a couple of times here, he shouldn't be a man. You know, you're a man. Get out there and dust yourself off. I don't care you ain't worked in 10 years. Dust yourself off. Go out there and get you a job. You're a man. Work. Expect to get my money.
Well, but what about all of those years where they could have been building equity? See, you took them away from that. You promised them something. So now you must go ahead and make good on that promise.
Wow. Okay. That's good.
That's why you have prenuptial agreement.
Now you know
as well.
You know I'm the question asker, man. So I'm just asking the questions, brother. Why can't he? You know, yeah, you ain't worked in 10 years. That's cool. I understand what you just said. That part too. But now it's a situation when situations are different now. The circumstances are different.
Yeah, going forward, he should get a job and he should do all of that. But you owe. Because you made an agreement to do as such.
Okay.
And you broke that agreement.
Cool.
You don't tell somebody that you ain't got to work out and take care of you and then change your mind. You got to pay for that.
That's good. Willa!
Hey, Ryan.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing this morning? Well, what do you think about this? The situation is, 10-year marriage. She got the job. She's been working for 10 years. He's been a house husband. She's making 6 figures. They decided to go in a different direction. They decided to do something different, and separate. Should he expect spousal support, alimony, and all that stuff? Should he expect that, or should he just dust himself off, go out there, get a job, and work?
Well, like Leonard said, legally by the law, there's a process, as you guys have taught me. With the law, there's rules, regulations, and guidelines that we go by. So, yeah, if that happens, he should expect that. But some men who are very prideful wouldn't want that to happen, would tell them, just take everything, move on. I'm able to start over. I'm not saying that does not make him less of a man if he decides to follow that contract. But what I'm saying is that shows the type of man that he is when he says to himself, go ahead, go, keep what you got. He's going to show her that by separating from him, that she lost the best thing she could have ever had.
So that's what's on my heart, Brian.
Wow. Let me go before I got another caller. We're gonna go to the other caller, but right now, let me go. Ryan, talk to me, brother. I see you over there smiling, brother. What's up? What's on your heart? Talk to me.
And nothing really. I mean, everybody hitting it right on the head, right? If it's old, you gonna pay. But as a man, yeah, I'll receive that, but at the same time, like I just said in chat, it reminded me of a song we got here in Detroit. If you don't work, you don't eat. No wonder here it's hard in these streets. So you still gotta get up, even if you catching that money. Still got to get up, dust yourself off, and do what you was born to do anyway.
Wow. That's good. But and my thing is, even that we have to have this conversation based around the man, because it's not a conversation. If the roles were reversed, it's not a conversation. The system is going to make sure that the woman has everything that she, quote unquote, so rightfully deserves. They're going to make sure. Let me go to Stanley. Stanley, good morning. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Good morning.
Stanley, we are
doing good, bro. How you doing?
Hey, doing good. Good to have you, brother. What do you think about this situation, man? Should he expect to get money? Should he expect to get alimony and spousal support and all the other things? And should he
start over for me, Ross? I came in on the end.
Okay, it's been a couple. They've been married for 10 years. In the beginning, she has all these degrees. She go out there and get a 6-figure job. They decide, because of the fact that she's more equipped to get that kind of money, that he's gonna stay home with the kids, be a house husband. After 10 years, he has not worked for 10 years. Have not worked for 10 years. Been a house husband, taking care of the family. They split up. Should he get alimony and should he get spousal support and all of these things? Should he expect that? Should he get that? Or should he just be a man, dust himself off, and get back in the workforce?
Well, once again, we that's a good question. You have some men that will dust themselves off and go back to work, and you have some men that will hold her to the law. And that's on that person. A lot of guys really, just go to work. If depending on how the relationship ends, too, though. If it ends on a good term, he'll probably just go to work and not worry about it. If it ends on bad terms, he's gonna have some animosity and try to get what he could get. But me personally, I would just go on to work and find me something else to do, start a business or whatever. But it's all on the person's character and integrity.
Yeah.
Some guy would just go to work. Some guy, okay, she don't do me like this, all right. Well, I'm gonna hold her to the letter of the law, and I want what's mine. So all these questions we do, man, it's just all going to depend on the person and their character. Like I say, some will go to work, some be like, well, she did this. I've been here 10 years, and be like some women, because women will expect the money. So you have some guys who will say, well, we signed the contract, let's do it like this. So it all depends.
Is there along what you just said, is there a double standard in regards to this?
Always. They're always going to give the woman the benefit of the doubt. They expect the man to be the leader. They expect the man to hold things down. So if the reverse role, the woman would get the money, and there wouldn't be no problem. The question wouldn't be asked. But now that it's a man, yeah, it's a double standard, because they expect him to get out and go to work.
Yeah, exactly. Cap, why is there a double standard in regards to this? Because situations are the same across the board, whether it's the man or the woman, but there is a double standard involved in this. Why is that?
Well, man, it's going to always be a double standard, because this is how we deal with our women, our females. We most certainly look into consideration that she's a woman. Now, some women don't even like to for us to even say that, equal with you, man. What you talking about? It's not that we're looking at our women as less, but traditionally for years, the role of the woman has always been one where she has been given special privileges. Even to this day, she could probably get indoors faster and quicker than her husband, than her man. There's no question about that. But you most certainly treat the woman with a degree of difference. I mean, I remember that Malcolm words was always, you know, a home is a woman's base, but that's not necessarily her place. She could move up home and become president if that's what she chooses to do. But we always would see us as men, her just a degree below us on a physical level. You know, on a physical level. I mean, there is some women that even there she can beat a man on a physical level, but that's an exception to the rule. But mentally, she always has been just one step ahead of us men. And we know that. But I think there's a double standard because she's a woman. And I think those are the privileges of being a female. And we should never take away those privileges of her being a woman. Treat her like a woman and be able to let her know that, you know, we got her. And it's just a double standard. I think I'm not bad about the double standard. Any man that would be argumentative about the double standard of a woman, I mean, I would question his manhood. Well, I ain't gonna question his manhood, but come on, brother. Come on, man. Well, no, man. No, she should be just like, we should be equal. Well, I mean, there's some man that wants this woman to be equal with him. And personally, I wouldn't. You know, I would love to have just a couple more, you know, steps ahead of her, so I could at least have something that I can say that gives me some kind of sense of being the boss, even if she let me be the boss. But yes,
good morning. How are you?
Always going to be a double standard, Brother Right? Always, I believe.
And I like how you said even if she let me be the boss. Wow. I like that. Rico, what's on your heart?
Man, you know, we have to always understand that we are victims of traditional culture and modern culture. And we come from a place where chauvinistic men ran the show. A man's man, macho, machismo. Every man got to get out there and work. But now we live in a world where you have a Mr. Mom. See, I don't think people really paid attention to that movie, Mr. Mom, but that was an odd thing to see to me. But I saw that it was a reality. It wasn't my reality. But see, this is what happens. Sometimes we'll look at a situation, and being that we've been brought up on this way of life of a man is supposed to be a man, it's supposed to be a man, we don't like to look at each situation for what it is. And we'll have a closed and narrow mind and have the way we feel judging somebody else's situation or an issue. So now I think about Mr. Mom. I think about Kamala Harris. I think about Sarah Palin and Nancy Pelosi. You know, and I realize that those women started out small, and the career that they're in has taken them on a path that they had to have a Mr. Mom at home. And that Mr. Mom probably made a hell of a sacrifice, which was to stay home and play that role of the nurturer.
Yeah.
And if that woman had to travel across the country and across the world, and the only time she was going to get a chance to see her children was if he flew her children from Colorado to New York for a couple of days, man, he had to do all that hustling, but it may have been on her dime. But see, when you're in a relationship and a successful marriage, and one person is super powerful and has that potential to be the Kamala Harris or the Oprah Winfrey, the Wendy Williams, but y'all got children, you're going to make a sacrifice because you might have been just as smart. There's a politician here now named Katie Britt. Her husband was a football player at Alabama named Wesley Britt. He was the man. They met in college. But now her career is going to be much bigger than his, and he's taking a back seat. She don't even use his name when she ran for election and won. She didn't even use his name.
Wow.
So now she has the potential to not only move on up to be governor, but she might end up trying to run for president one day.
Mm-hmm.
And he might be the first man, Mr. Mom, first man president. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But now, say for instance, she want to leave. Say she get to moving around so much that she meets somebody, oh, he's more powerful than her. And she cheating. You know, it was funny to me to hear the women say, well, a couple of women say, well, if he loyal, he should. Well, do they say if the woman loyal, she should? It don't matter if she cheating or loyal or not. I don't think.
No.
So, I mean, you know, I think just being equal and being fair, not being narrow-minded, not being programmed by modern culture and traditional culture, because that's where the double standard comes from. We still trying to live by old traditional codes and beliefs of what a man should be in a world where black girls or women rock. Women rule the world. See, if women rule the world, you get what I'm saying? And this is the world we live in, then some of those men might make a sacrifice, and it might take them 2, 3, 4, 5 years to get back into school or to get back on their grind or to build a business from the bottom, because they made that sacrifice for these 10 years while this woman became the power that she was, because she didn't just become stagnant. She didn't just stay at that first 6-figure job, but now she up to a meal. She started at the bottom, but now she a CEO. Now she's on the board. Now she got to travel. She's international. And you proud of your woman. You supported her. You supported her so much that you knew for her to do all these things, you was going to have to put your dreams to the side.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm going to need that alimony. And I'm going to go to work. See, I don't even know why the people would assume you wouldn't go to work if you took the alimony. The thing is that even when you go to work, you starting all the way over.
Starting over at the beginning. Exactly.
And you probably got the kids and got the relationship, and the judge know you had the kid because she ain't never had time to be with the kids. So he going to give them to you anyway. Because she always on the go. She international.
Good deal. Stay right there. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Let me go to Goddess. Then we're going to go to Leonard. Goddess, what's on your heart, sis?
Basically, I'm sitting up really listening to everything. I could just say this, is that because we chose a career, I don't feel like we decided to chose a career because we feel like maybe I will be the better one to bring in more income, because we we decided this beforehand. I shouldn't be demonized for that. And just because I chose a career and I had my husband as, I think we should still have shared custody, not you take my child. The next thing that I do think about is the fact that as we can't just automatically assume a man is going to get out here and get a job, because we got so many men that don't. There's so many men that don't. They lay up under women, and as they go. And unfortunately, it's rare to find a man's men out here. And it just takes me back to, I remember when my mom and dad separated for a short period of time, and my mom asked my dad for alimony, and my dad was a man's man. And he told my mom, you should have never left, because I'm not paying alimony. You can give me my daughter. And so it is what it is. And I never wanted for anything. So when it was time for my dad to get me, I still had my bedroom here, and I had my bedroom there where she lived. So I had my clothes here, and I had my clothes there. So I never not wanted for anything. But my dad said, no, I'm not paying alimony. I'm not paying child support. I'm not doing none of that. And my mother was a professional, so she didn't need it. But they ended up getting back together at the end and living their days out together.
Yes, good.
But the point that I'm making is my father was the man of the household. And he was the provider, even though my mother could have got out and provided way more because she was more educated. But they worked together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you have that relationship where y'all work together in a marriage, that is the most key thing. And y'all can't grow apart from that.
Good deal.
Especially if y'all continue to grow with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to promote Black families, Black unity, and love, because it's becoming rare. Not that because white and Black and all that. No, I'm here to promote Black love, Black families, Black community, because it's becoming more rare.
Okay,
and
hold on,
we
sis.
have been taken
Hold on,
apart
sis.
throughout.
You change your topics on. Let's stay on the topic we're on right now. I understand what you're saying, but let's stay on the topic we're on. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Listening, we have to make sure, we don't venture off into what some people is common. Everybody's not going to live like you live.
Mm-hmm.
People have different arrangements, different issues that they have to accommodate for. Like, say, for instance, my dad pretty much worked the majority of the time, 12, 14 hours a day. My mother was a stay-at-home mom, but she had a daycare.
Mm-hmm.
So the notion that one position is less than the other is what's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to look for the balance of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
There are some men who really can't appreciate certain women, and they shouldn't be with them. You should know forward-thinking people do forward and progressive things. If a woman marries a man that's doing very little, they ain't trying to get no more, guess what? That's going to probably be a problem. I know some guys go to work 40 hours a week and they think because they done their 40 hours, it's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not. 40 hours at $7 an hour is still just $7 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So while you got your chest stuck out, what if she working 25 hours making $10 an hour, $15, $20 an hour? But you stuck on that tradition. I go to work and I do this. You know how folks have argued. You've watched it on TV. You've heard people repeat the same probably foolishness in your families and everywhere because of, like Rico talked about, the culture of the matter. If you're in that culture where a man is supposed to do this, that, and the other, then that's most likely how you may follow suit.
Mm-hmm.
But don't forget, women used to be second-class citizens. Women did not used to have the rights that men had. So this just didn't happen yesterday. It's not a new issue. It's an evolution. It's a change. And it's so sad that some men are so simple that they cannot take advantage of this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just mind-boggling sometimes. But then again, that's why old men sit down.
Mm-hmm. Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Ryan, you with us, brother?
I am.
Okay, talk to me.
What topic? We still on the same topic?
Yeah, man. We're talking about, should he get that money, or should he, like you say, go out there and get a job and don't worry about it and just work? Because truth of the matter, I think he deserves the money, whether he accepts it or not. That's a whole different situation, a whole different conversation. What do you say?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, take that money, but you still need to be a man and dust yourself off and go to work. That's just it is what it is. Like brother was just saying a minute ago, he making $7 an hour, working 40 hours a week. She doing 25 at 10. Mm-hmm. She's still coming up on you, but hey, you gotta get that overtime.
Yeah, exactly. Better do something.
Get that overtime.
That's it. That's it.
There's certain weeks in here, like I make a decent living, right? And it's certain times in here where I'll pull 60 hours, no problem. and she's begging me to come home, and I'm like, nah, gotta get this money.
Yeah,
Trying to set us up, you know. And if something were to happen, you know, that money that I'm trying to set us up with, that's going to go to her and my kids. You know what I mean? I don't see nothing happening. It's been 20 years, so but you never know. You never know.
Exactly. That's good.
But yeah, I mean, like my wife said earlier, that law is mostly gender neutral across the nation at this point. So it shouldn't be no fight. I mean, it's really not even it's a debate, right? But it's not. It's just everybody is owed what they owe, and it's up to them what they're gonna collect. That's how I feel about it.
Exactly. I collect when I play Monopoly. I like to collect my $200 when I go past go. Give me my $200. Hey, look at him. Give me my money. Somebody, what's on your heart, sis?
Oh, I was just looking up some facts because I love looking up the history of things like this, right? And like I said in the chat, this goes back to 1754 BC in Babylon. Wow. That is when alimony was started. And of course, originally it was for the sake of the woman, you know, because back in those times, women were not afforded the same luxuries, right? That's a good way of putting it. Luxuries. They weren't, and the freedoms, the same freedoms too. So it was a lot harder for them back then, right? But it's not now. We have those choices where we can do these things. But I just thought it was so cool and so interesting.
Go ahead.
Okay. That it goes back so far into history, and that other countries and places had adopted that and had changed it over time, right? But I mean, like I said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And you know, historically, the woman had to have provided children to her husband in order for her to receive that alimony. And of course, now if we look at that, and I don't know how the courts work this, I don't even know if you have to have children involved anymore, because now we have child support to help take care of the child. But I do feel like in some regard, maybe that should also be a factor, because if it's just you and the husband, right? There's no reason why you can't get up and go to work. If there are no children involved, I don't even know if alimony should be an issue at that point. Unless, like someone said, you know, maybe he has health issues or there's something else going on to where he can't. But I think those things definitely should be taken into consideration, just with alimony overall. And I don't know that everyone should be afforded it. I don't know. But I mean, and in my circumstance, in my case, like my husband and I have been saying, like, I would give it to him, no problem. It wouldn't be an issue for me. So, good. Oh, and the other thing too is, and I think, I don't know if I said this before or not, but if there is a cheating spouse, that does directly impact whether they get the alimony or not. So that's the other thing. Because I know some people are saying, oh, if he's a good man, yeah, absolutely. Well, in a court of law, that does impact whether or not a spouse does receive.
Okay. Leonard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The good Bishop Gregory Adams.
Bishop, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I'm blessed. Good morning to everyone. Good morning.
Hey, I want to hear your heart on this, brother. If they've been married for 10 years, she got all kind of degrees, able to go out there and get a 6-figure job, making 6 figures. He stay home as a house husband. They split up. Should he expect alimony? Should he expect spousal support? He hadn't worked in 10 years. Should he expect it?
Yes, he should, and that should be a clear understanding. I'm a stickler about certain things. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I always say it all the time. If the shoe was on the other foot, and that's what the woman would expect, then the same thing with the man. And everyone's saying, you know, a lot of people say, man needs to go to work, man needs to go to work. I would agree with you 1,000%. But if this was the onset of the relationship, you're in the children, you got all, you know, these degrees and you're making 6 figures. I think Lem said it better than anything is relate. $7. She making 10. You still making $7 an hour. Now you telling me to work overtime to make more money than I may be able to compete. You know, yeah, no. He's entitled to it. He should be entitled to it. And this was the deal, and this work is saying out the way it's supposed to be. And then, you know, a man, I look at things a little bit different because I wouldn't want to be the one to stay at home anyway. We both work, we both make money. But if this is the deal, now we have children involved, because now I heard that conversation just a few seconds ago, a minute ago, or whatever. Well, you know, now we have children involved, and he's staying at home taking care of the children, keeping the house clean, doing all this. Now you expect me to go to work? Now I'm living this, you know, this lap of luxury all this while. That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. So
exactly.
At the end of the day, I love all the comments, and these are the opinions and thoughts, and you know, that's just it. But I think Linda knocked the ball out the park. Just tell you the truth about it.
Good deal. Good deal. Cassandra, and then Rico coming to you next. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah, no, I still stand by, you know, what I said originally. He's entitled to the money just like she would have been entitled to the money. And we have to stop so much of the, you know, the different now. It's frustration, and it's not going to go back to the way it was when my mother came up or my grandmother. So we have to deal with things as they are. And he's entitled to the money. And if he, you know, of course, I think most men would want to work, you know, even though he's getting the alimony, but he's entitled to that money. Give him the money. I don't understand what the issue is.
Exactly. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I'm in the same place, man. I think it's pretty much obvious that in some cases that the man would deserve it, and in some cases he wouldn't. I think to me it's starting to come off like the question is if he did deserve it, should he take it?
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, I mean, because like I said, if you really understand how a relationship works, you know, when you start off and you make this agreement with this woman or this man, this woman might have the better opportunities. And these opportunities may continue to grow. She may become high profile. She may become the next Rihanna, the next Beyonce, or the next Kamala Harris. And you the significant other. But she still wants her children to have the same plain old little lifestyle they both of y'all had when y'all grew up in that little neighborhood of only 2,000 people in that city or whatever. She want that old school nurturing and trying. She want them children to stay grounded. She don't want them to get caught up in this high profile lifestyle. So you might have to make a sacrifice. You might be just as talented as her. You might have other ambitions. You know, it might come a time after you raise your children that you can go ahead and invest into your career. But at the same time, you made a huge sacrifice for this woman to be able to fly back and forth to Dubai, take these jobs overseas with these contracts over in Pakistan and all over. Oh yeah, I've seen the world. I used to sing on Broadway. I traveled with this play, and we went everywhere. All the accolades I received. But I just want my children to have a normal lifestyle. And baby, I know you my husband, but you're gonna have to do something to make sure that we can accomplish this. Because we both agree that we want our children to not be in this lifestyle. There's a huge sacrifice got to be made.
Yeah.
Now, if something's still going sideways, like I said, you know, if she neglected her duties as a wife, got too caught up in the career and put the career first, because we are in a modern world where girls rock and women rule the world now. This ain't 1700s, 1800s, 1900s, where it was a chauvinistic mindset. Feminism has changed this dialect, this environment. So even men, it's hard for men to even get away from the fact that even though we are men's men, we can't have that opinion about the way things are going now because of the way it's set up.
Mm-hmm.
So, really and truly, this is the way it is now. It's a modern world. You will have some women that have better opportunity to be better providers for the family. And some of those men may have to take a back seat and make a lot of sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
And it would only be fair and normal. I mean, just, logical for them to do that.
Yeah.
I take myself out of situations. I can't even imagine that situation because I ain't even married.
Mm-hmm.
But I can look at a Nancy Pelosi and understand that. I can look at a Kamala Harris and know that, hey, we don't know too much about her husband, and maybe he was already successful too. But a lot of these high-profile couples kneel long. People really never knew her husband, her relationships, because they want to keep her children. A lot of celebrities, you don't know anything about their children because they want to keep them out the limelight. So that spouse has to do a lot of things to sacrifice that for the family. If anything goes wrong, they deserve to be compensated.
Exactly.
For making that sacrifice.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's keep this thing going. We're gonna go, and then we're gonna switch it. We're gonna switch up one more time before we get out of here. What is it? We at 39 now. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, what's on your heart? Cap, coming to you next.
I was just kept thinking about to be careful what you ask for, you just might get it.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a movement to women's liberation, and now we're liberated. I'm looking and I'm thinking about maybe 50 years from now, we'll be trying to have men liberation movement. We done backed up so much. We're gonna have to protest to get ahead.
Wow. Cap.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what's on your heart? We're going to switch up this topic one more time, but you have anything on your heart on this particular topic right here before we move on?
No, we can move on. I'm good.
Okay. Anybody have anything they want to say before we move on? We're going to lighten it up a lot.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
got a question, Raheem.
Go ahead.
Would a prenup stop all of that?
I think what a prenup does, it actually limits what you can get or what you're entitled to. But you still get, you still could get your alimony, if child support is married, you get those things, but there's a cap on it, what you can get.
Raheem.
Yes.
Yeah, because alimony has nothing to do with your prenup. This man has already taken care of his family at home for 10 years. So this is something he's entitled to. This isn't like, her money that she's accumulated with in the prenup. Those two have nothing to do with each other, the alimony and the prenup. He's entitled to receive that money.
Wow. Anybody else? Okay, let's switch it up a little bit. Let me get the tab paper here. I'm thinking, do we want to do that? What would you do if, or do you want to change and do something different? Y'all want to do the what would you do if? There's no jumping up and down, so I guess y'all don't want to do that. So let's do this. Zamar, let me ask you this question. Name me something. Right now, name me something of the past that has been outdated that we don't even use anymore. That and would it be beneficial today?
Phone booths. I mean, that's the first thing that came to mind.
Wow. Yeah, Superman got to have a place to change.
Phone booths, and are they relevant today, or would they be useful today? I think in some circumstances they would be useful today. Depending on where you are, because especially with cell phones, right, a lot of people are very protective of their cell phone, and they're not just going to hand that over to somebody else to use to call for whatever intents and purposes. I don't. Okay, so businesses have them, I think, still, like landlines.
Yeah.
So you could run into a store and use a phone in case of an emergency, but sometimes there's not one nearby enough for you to run into the store. So I think in certain areas, yes, they would be relevant and they would be useful. But yeah, phone booths.
Okay. Cassandra, what do you say? What has been outdated in this day and time that we don't use anymore, and would it be relevant in this day and time?
That we don't use anymore. God, I can't even. I don't know. I'm on a blank.
Okay.
What do we? I can't think of anything.
Okay. I'm gonna come when we come back to you.
Yeah.
Rico.
Go ahead.
What are some of the things that we used to use a lot that was a very, very important to our everyday life that we don't use anymore, that's outdated, and would it be relevant today?
Pencil.
Wow. That's good. Yeah.
I got one.
Yeah, it would be relevant today. You know what I'm saying? If you really had one and handed it right now, some stuff when you needed to.
Exactly. That's good. Cassandra, you say you got something?
Yeah, a clothesline.
Well, you go out there, all your clothes be gone. You go back out there, you hang your clothes up, had the little clothespins on there. You want to go out there and let your clothes just air dry, and I used to love that. But I'm gonna tell you something, you go out there today, man, all your clothes gone, man. Somebody down the street selling your clothes now, man. everything gone. Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, what do you have, brother?
Man, it's a lot of things. Like, say, for instance, first thing I thought about was wood. Wood is a luxury now to a lot of people, especially us as Americans, because one, you don't have to go get wood to fire up the stove. You don't have to do things like that anymore if you don't want to. Or say, for instance, you don't use well water like we used to.
Yeah.
Things like that technology has advanced, so there's no need for them anymore. And I like the especially I'm big on like different tools and things like that. And plus, if you've been in nature and camped out a lot, you realize you spend most of your time collecting stuff. Now, you can't be lazy in the woods.
No, sir.
You always doing something in the woods. Like, you can always be chopping wood because that's your fuel source.
Yeah.
And so that's what stood out in my mind when you first said it, was wood, because I used to camp a lot. And that's what you spend a lot of your time doing. You don't waste a lot of time. And you have to collect that wood because you never know. And you always doing it, it seems like.
Yeah.
Storing wood, because you run in the furnace, you heating up you may want to, like, hot water. How you gonna heat the water? Heat the house. Just stuff like that is what I thought of.
Cook. How you gonna cook?
Right.
That's good. Bishop, what do you have for us?
Man, let me tell you, we have evolved from time of old. I forgot about a whole lot of stuff. When she said something about the phone booth, that was a good one right there. We don't have them on the streets anymore. So I don't know. To tell you the truth, I don't know.
Okay. See, y'all too modernized. See, that's what it is. Y'all too modernized. Ryan, what's on your heart, brother?
One, I'm gonna go in a different path. Give me just 1 second.
Okay. One second.
My baby
Sorry
works
about
so
that.
hard.
I was dealing with one of my guys. I'm gonna go off the beaten path of what everybody else say, and I'm gonna throw this out there. Defining everything by color is outdated. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
You a man. I'm a man.
Yeah.
Stop defining me by what I look like. That's outdated.
Wow. That's good. That's good. That's good. Look at what getting next? Captain. That's good.
Well, man, you had all of us going down memory lane.
Oh yeah.
But I think when Sis said phone booth, man, I say phone book. I mean, man, look at how everybody knows that. Everybody, every first, you know, when the new phone books come out, they be dropping their phone book on your porch.
Yes, sir.
And of course, the phone book had the yellow pages in it, and everything you wanted was in that big old thick phone book.
Yep.
Well, the phone book is obsolete now, and we don't have the yellow pages. I think it's been replaced by Google. But most certainly, the phone book. Everybody remember the phone book, and of course, and another thing I think Leonard said wood, but coal. You know, we didn't have wood, Leonard. You know, I could tell how you always lived a life of privilege. We didn't have wood. We had coal. You know, we had to jump on when the train came by. My brothers had to jump on that damn train. Because, you know, black people always live by the railroad. You know, they said, how you find black people? Just find the railroad track. Jump on that train and throw that coal off. Cause our furnace ran with coal. It didn't run with no wood. It ran by coal. So, you know, and so coal is obsolete. Those are two things, but right.
Good deal. Good deal. Let me go. Goddess. What are one of the things that's outdated today that we don't use anymore, and that could be beneficial, or could it be?
I don't know. I can't think about that. I don't know. I can't think. I don't know.
Can't come up with nothing.
I can't come up with nothing. There's a lot of stuff that's outdated. So
Okay.
that's correct. I can't think of it.
Okay. Tucson, talk to me.
The three.
Okay.
The boom box, record players, and 8-track.
Now let me ask them. Did you used to when your 8-track when it messed or the little cassettes too now? But when they used to pop, did you just take that tape and tape it back?
Hey man, that was where the good songs was. You had to put it back together.
Exactly. Pull it out, man. Get that tape. Put that tape behind it.
Hey, remember the sound it used to make when it was about to change?
Raj. Hello.
Hold on. Okay.
Did you?
Let me mute that there. Okay, there you go. Go ahead, Tucson. I missed what you said. Say it again, brother.
No, I said remember the sound the 8-track tape player used to make when it was going to change that from one song to the other.
No, I know you got me on that, brother. I remember listening to him, and I don't remember no sound. What sound he used to make? You got me with that one, brother. You got me with that one now. I remember I had to change the channel, change the track and all that stuff. I remember all that. No. What sound are you talking about, brother? I don't know that now. You
come on, get with it, right?
Hey, look here.
You still got milk behind your ear.
Okay. I still, man, look here. I don't. Anybody else remember that? Anybody remember that? A sound it used to make?
Yeah, when it used to flip aside, it used to do like a little clicking sound. It was like
I remember it.
Yeah, it's a click sound that it did when it went from one side to the other on the 8-track.
Yeah.
Man, listen, man, I'm about to do some research. See, can I find that sound and play that sound for us? Because y'all,
I think it was when it was reversing. It would do a pop and reverse it. You know what I'm saying? It didn't. You know, I made a mistake. Cassette tape did it too. It would do a little pop and then it'd go to the other side. Well, you didn't have to turn it over on your own.
Oh man, look at y'all. Hey, y'all got me, man. Y'all got me on that one.
Man, stop it, Raheem. Stop it. Just stop it.
Cassandra, you remember that, Cassandra?
Well, you know what, man? Raheem didn't evolve with the tape decks. He stayed with the one you had to keep on turning it over. Man, he did it automatically.
y'all remember when the song was over on the 45 and it would do that little
Yeah.
until they made that automatic one that would just go to the next one and another one would drop.
Yep.
Okay, look, Sometimes I just gotta get silent. Sometimes I gotta get silent. But
so he don't even remember the little frying sound at the end of the album.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember that now. Oh yeah, I remember that part. Oh yeah, I remember that. LPs and all that stuff. Yeah, I remember all that. Let me go to Willie. I know Willie got about 10 of them for us. Willie, what are some of the things that's outdated? Willie!
You know what? You so funny, Ryan. But you know what I thought about when you said that?
What's that?
Customer service. We get no human being dealing with our customer service. It's becoming option. Option 1, pick option 5 or 6. Then press 3. I am so done with it. There is no intimacy with customer service. I'm through with that one.
Wow. Okay. Let's go back to Zamar. Zamar, come up with another. If the phone booth good, you got to top it though.
Common sense. I mean, really. Let's think about it, right? We get so caught up in our feelings now. That's why I thought it was so funny, but it's true. Common sense.
Wow. Wow. Cassandra? Cassandra, you there? Rico, talk to me, brother.
Well, being the Willie Zamara got me, man. Y'all move fast, but I still got one more. Manual cash registers. I went to a Wendy's one day, man, and they had to shut down early, like 2 o'clock, because the computers went down and they couldn't even do any transactions or ring up anything manually. And the first thing I said to myself, it happened at Walmart too. First thing I said to myself, if they had some of them old cash registers in the back, they could have kept on going with business as usual. But those people don't even know how to use those cash registers.
Rico, they only know how to count. They don't know how to count. They don't know how to count your money back, man. They can't count your money back. You get.
Well, they couldn't even do a transaction.
Yeah,
that's the thing about it. They couldn't do a transaction. They did know how to count your money back. They couldn't do a transaction because everything is computerized.
Rico, look now. Look, watch this. If you go in the store, you order something, it costs $2.47. Give them a $5 bill and 2 cents. Man, they ain't gonna figure that out, man.
Man, I do it all the time, man. And I have to tell them. I have to tell them what change they're supposed to give me back. Man, I'm trying to save you from counting pennies.
They ain't gonna sit there and stare at this cash register, man. They gonna sit there and just stare at it.
They give you too much money back. You be like, wait a minute, man, you about to get yourself fired.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I think that manual cash register is huge, man. That would have been big that day that Wendy's shut down, and like I said, Walmart shut down. So you know it's big when the supercenter shut down.
Oh yeah. That's a lot of money being lost. A lot of money.
Raheem.
Yes, sir.
I'm old enough to remember not just candles, but do you remember oil lamps?
Oh yeah.
Hey, wait a minute now. I still have oil lamps.
Those kerosene oil lamps in case the lights used to go out.
Exactly.
And my grandmother would use her old lamps because she kept a few of them at the time. And I remember as a little boy, her explaining to me, you know, how to cut that wick and all that stuff, because you had to pay attention to the oil lamp if you had it. And I think, remember, they used to cause a lot of fires.
Yeah. Exactly. And
then they stopped really promoting oil lamps.
Don't let that joker turn over.
Right.
Bishop.
The kerosene burn fast.
Real fast. Exactly. Zamar, I see your hand there. You got something?
I still own oil lamps. My mother actually had my great grandmother's original oil lamps.
Yeah.
And so I learned how to use them, like he was saying, with the cutting the wicks. And now you don't have, you can get the ropes, right, where you do have to cut them down, but you can buy them where they're pre-cut now to whatever the length should be. But I use them because honestly, during a power outage or whatever, they're so handy. And I can remember one time where we were living in an apartment and we had this tornado that came through actually, and everyone's power went out. And I lit one of those and I went outside, and everybody else has their flashlights on their phones, and they see me with this old school oil lamp, and they're like, and I heard them and they're like, hey, look at what she's got. That's smart.
Yeah.
You know, people don't use them anymore, but I don't do candles. Man, oil lamps. Yeah, that's a good one.
Good deal. Good deal. Bishop.
Well, I'm just they going with some stuff, man. Candles, lanterns. I mean, I still got lanterns here in my house right now. But we have really evolved. And to think back and try to go back to so many different things that we missed. Rico hit about the cash register. Y'all boy, he sure hit that one right there. That was a good one too. Because these folks don't know how to count these registers. But it's so, man, we have really evolved that I really forgot about a lot of old stuff that we used to do. Heard what Tucson talking about, the LPs and the cassettes and the 8-tracks, man.
The reels.
If you didn't have no 8-track in your car, you weren't right.
Man, them reels, that was it, man. Them reel play for hours, bro. You have a whole party with them reels. Just hit play.
I remember having to use that automatic credit card machine where you had to make an imprint of the card on the duplicate piece of paper.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, Atlanta show telling how old he is, ain't
it? Yeah, that joke old, man.
I used to work at J.C. Penney's a long time ago.
That joke there. Oh, look here. He older than buttermilk. He older than buttermilk, man. You know now.
Stop it. Y'all stop it. Y'all old dudes, stop it. Just stop it.
Cap, what's on your heart, Cap?
No,
give me
we know
something.
Leonard go back to the Sears catalog. You know, we know that Sears catalog was used for several purposes.
Exactly.
When you ran out of toilet paper, you go get your
I think it's time for us to end the broadcast. On that note, I think.
Wait, then if you want to get the little sex on, you go to the women's underwear section. I'm gonna bust you all out. I'm busting you out when you.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
Lord.
Oh my goodness.
Lord Jesus.
I think the wife. Hey, Raheem. Dr. Dennis. I even went into the as a kid when he mentioned catalogs. It just bring back a big memories, right? I actually we used to go in the catalog. I just picked me a wife out of the J.C. Penney catalog when they first got the little black girl modeling in the J.C. Penney catalog.
Lord Jesus.
I'm like, I'm gonna get one just like that.
See what I show you right
here? What?
Hey, wait a minute now. Hey, Brother Rico. Now, you know, you used to get your groceries. What did they used to have in a brown paper bag? You don't get some groceries in a brown paper bag. Everything's plastic. But
Everything
the paper bag serves so many purposes, though, you know?
Wow.
Hey, look, those same brown paper bags used to be my suitcases when I went from home to home.
Yeah. Exactly. Put everything in it.
Hey, wait, man, what about how you used it to get into the party? Y'all remember, man? You used the brown paper bag to, you know, to deal with the colored thing.
Yep. Wow. See, I didn't know. I didn't know where y'all was gonna go with this thing, boy. But y'all knocked it out the park, man. Y'all knocked it out the park. Anybody else have anything before we get out of here? Stamps.
Stacks. I'm talking about them with the pimps. You know what I used to wear back in the day?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say y'all ain't no wear them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We might not have been old enough to wear them stacks. I don't think I was old enough to wear them stacks.
Man.
They very much back now. Very much back now.
I hope.
Man, I used to wear them. I ain't number 5'6", so I wanted to be tall.
Now listen. Now watch this here. if I take one of these right here, because I did this before, a couple of my nephews, it was helping me clean my garage out. I got some encyclopedias, Britannica encyclopedias in my garage right now. And I told him, I said, look here, man, go over there, them encyclopedias, go get them encyclopedias, bring them over here, man. We're gonna put them in a box. That joker went over there, man, and he's scratching his head, looking around, scratching his head. Didn't have any idea what an encyclopedia was. No clue.
They have no clue.
No clue.
That's our internet. That was our internet.
Exactly. No clue. I like, man. I said, you don't know what a
Ryan,
yeah.
It was a shame that you had to put them in the box.
Yeah. yeah. Good, like, I still got them. Maybe they might be worth something one day. I don't know, man. But that joker had no idea what an encyclopedia was. Anyway, on that note, anybody got anything else before we get out of here? Willow!
Yeah, now it's Wikipedia, not encyclopedia.
It's all credit card now.
What happened?
Cash at a ballpark. You can't take. It's all credit card. You can't buy nothing with cash.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what we're going to. Rico, what's going on at 3?
I just thought about it. When the last time y'all seen somebody write a check?
Wow. It is, man. I can't remember.
Or seen a checkbook.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I have no idea.
Drive-in theaters. Drive-in theaters.
Mm-hmm. There's so many different things, man. Like I said, once your mind get to working, you start thinking about these things, man. And I'm going to tell y'all something, man. I grew up in the projects. I ain't ashamed to tell you, man. We had food stamps, man, and had the little plastic coins too. Y'all don't know nothing about that. They had little plastic coins, man, nickels and dimes or whatever it is, but it was plastic. See, y'all wealthy people, man. Y'all don't know nothing about that. See, I guess I'm the only one.
No, we had them H&L stamps. We had a little book that your mama, when you go to the store, they give you all these stamps. And you had these books. Now, you better not mess with those books. Mama, they had 3 or 4 books filled out. She goes to the store and they was benefits. Them was the stamps we was messing with, Brother Raheem.
Okay, exactly.
Hey, and they had them pretty little Monopoly colors on them.
Yeah.
Each little denomination.
Exactly. That's right. What's going on at 3:00 today, Rico?
If you missed today's show and would like to hear us see the rebroadcast in its entirety, tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal. What up?
Come on, Raheem. Let's go.
Let's
go, Raheem.
I think. Hold on. I think somebody else asked somebody say something just now.
Yeah, real quick. Can I get Willa to pray? I'm actually at the hospital right now.
Oh.
I have to have a biopsy today, so I'm asking you guys, just to
absolutely.
keep me in prayer.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Willa!
Raheem, let's go.
Come
on, Raheem, let's go.
Are you sure you're ready?
Raheem, I am so ready to receive God's word. Let's go, Raheem. Let's go.
Well, now you know what the day is now. You know the day is the day is Friday, right?
Yes. Yes, Lord. Let's go.
Okay, now because of the day Friday, we got to let's go.
Let's go, Raheem. Oh, wait, Father God. Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to get up. Father, we thank you, Lord, for being a keeper, Lord. Father, we're praying, Lord, for peace today. Father, we're asking you, oh Lord, that you show up today in each and every last one of our lives, Lord. Cassandra is asking for a great report, which should come from a test, Lord. Father, I believe that it's already done. You said it in your word, that we have not because we ask not. Father, I'm asking you to line it up with your will. Father, I believe that you continually give us mercy and grace, even when we don't deserve it. I thank you, Lord, for all the things that you do, Lord. You said it in your word that all things work together for the good of them who love the Lord. And Father, we love you. Honor and praise you this morning, Lord. We thank you, Lord, that you won't have your children to be ignorant, Lord. I'm asking you, oh Lord, to tear back the linings of not understanding your word, Lord. Tear back the lining of stubbornness, Lord. Tear back the lining of all the barriers that keep us from you, Lord. I'm asking you, oh Lord, to do these things. I'm praying, Lord, that someone will hear your message, Lord, and say that I believe and I accept you, Lord, as my Savior. I'm asking you, oh Lord, that those who have prayed, Lord, that you answer their prayers, Lord, and you show up with miraculous miracles, Lord. Father, I'm seeking that they'll show up with a praise report on Monday, Lord. Father, we thank you, Lord, and honor that you allowed us to get up this morning to get closer and closer to you. Father, I thank you. I'm praying for those who've lost loved ones. I'm asking you, Lord, to comfort them, Lord. I'm asking you, Lord, to give them the peace that surpasses all understanding, Lord. I'm asking you, Lord, to put your loving arms around them. Keep allowing the angels to keep them, Lord, in comfort and peace. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I'm praying for those who are incarcerated, Lord, who lost their way along the way. Let them know that they still have hope, Lord. I'm praying for the homeless, Lord. Let them know that you still provide food and shelter. If they could do it, you could do it for the birds. Why not for the one that you love the most, which is your man, the one that you created in your own image? Oh, Lord, I thank you so much for all you do. Praise and honor you. I give you the highest praise of hallelujah. We thank you, Lord, for your power of the Holy Spirit that lines us up with your will each and every day. We thank you, Lord. I thank you for Raheem and DKM Media Radio, putting your message out there, Lord. We thank you for allowing him to show up in a miraculous way with your message. Thank you, Lord. We honor you, glorify you, and praise you. In Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen. Glory to God. Oh, we thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. Glory to God. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, Lord. Yes, yes, yes. Anybody have anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, actually, do you have any updates on Mr. Hicks?
He hadn't reached out to me in a couple of days. You know, he is fighting the COVID. I'm gonna have to actually probably give him a call today and check in on him. Rico, if you get a chance.
Yeah, I seen him yesterday. He feeling a little better. He's still trying to get his chest straightened up. He said he's been still suffering the minor effects of it.
Okay.
But he coming around a little bit.
Good.
He said he really felt like it was a real bad cold, but it was on him a little bit though.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell him we're definitely praying for him, man. We're definitely praying for him. Good.
All right.
Anybody else have anything before we get out of here? Good deal. Well, it is now 10:11. Y'all got some more time out me today. Y'all got some more time out me. But it's 10:11. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:11. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Give somebody some love and truth over the weekend. They will appreciate it. And I'm sure you will as well. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. See you Monday morning. If God say the same. Love you.